Page 3 in Oaks, Pennsylvania. I'm Wes Allen with DM Tales. I am one of the interviewers here for Page 3, doing my afternoon shift here on Thursday, and I am here with the one, the only, Anna B. Myers. How are you?
Oh, good.
I am glad to hear it.
I'm at the convention. Life is good. Yeah, I'm with gamers.
It's a great time, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it is. Yeah, I sit at home and I do maps of places that don't exist. No one understands what I'm doing. I go to the convention and everybody understands what I'm doing. So, yeah.
Everybody definitely understands what you are doing.
Yeah.
So second time I met you in person.
Yeah.
So we got to meet at Game Hole. But I had the oddest experience. I'm going to name, that was the oddest experience to walk by. It's like, I know who you are. That was weird.
Yeah, but it was cool because I've seen your videos for at least 6 months. I've seen like 10 or 20 or something of them. And you're one of the 50 or so YouTube D&D or TTRPG YouTubers that I follow. And yeah, it's great.
I had to make sure that got in so everybody knew.
Yes.
So, but you are known for your Greyhawk map.
Yes, and I'm also for my Midgard maps, but not in the community that much because a lot of people that play Kobold Press Midgard stuff, they use the maps without knowing that
you were the one who did it. Yes. But are you doing any seminars on the Greyhawk map while you're here? Okay. If you are not at Page yet and you're coming and you see that slot open, get to it.
Oh, there's we have the big seminar room. So with 100 seats and I have like 40 people signed up.
It will blow your mind. Awesome. So how long have you been working on the Greyhawk map?
30 years. I started almost 30 years. I think I started 97 on what became that first generation Greyhawk maps.
That's awesome. So in the first generation Greyhawk map, what were you doing as a scale for it?
Oh, that one is roughly about a half a mile per pixel or something like that.
Which, like 1990s.
Yeah. That was ambitious for being in the 1990s. I can tell.
I mean, you were maxing out your memory pretty much.
I was betting on Moore's Law will save me every couple of years so I can get a new, better computer because otherwise it wouldn't work out. And thankfully, my bet paid out.
Nobody talks about Moore's Law anymore.
No, but that saved me.
Yes,
Moore's Law is still betting
computing power doubles every so many years.
But now it will not be hardware as much yet.
Yeah, now it's just memory.
Yeah, memory and also that software is getting better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you started working on Greyhawk
as a fan.
As a fan.
Yeah.
What was the process of going through and creating that map that first time?
It was.
And also, have you met Darlene? Because she's here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
We actually share a room.
Did you really? I walked up to her and I said, "Thank you so much for everything you've done."
Yeah, and I'm one of her patrons. I can recommend her. She has a calligraphy font-based patron.
Gotcha.
Where she presents her awesome calligraphy and scripting and all that stuff.
Very good.
Yeah.
Cool. So you're working on that. So I cut you off. What is the process as you start going?
And it was simply I needed a map. I loved the Darlene map. But the problem was it didn't have enough detail.
Gotcha.
On purpose, because it was supposed to be something that got players to play Greyhawk and then to simply be an overview of the setting. But I wanted the detail. I wanted everything on the map. And then I saw cool digital maps in the early 80s and mid 80s and stuff. And I realized I want this for my game.
Okay.
So I saw that it was possible to do really cool digital maps. And I didn't realize how difficult it was.
What were you using back then?
I used a program called Bryce. It was the first terrain 3D software that was available to the public.
Really?
Yeah. So it came out for Mac back in 94, I think it was. And then I saw an ad for it in a computer magazine.
Okay.
Like in 94, 95 or something. I think it was 94, 95. And then I was kind of trying with the Photoshop, like CorelDRAW and stuff like that. But I realized I needed more dedicated tool for it.
Because you wanted to literally have the elevation
map. That came out, and I took the ad with me to a computer store in Stockholm, and the only store that sold Macs, because it was only available for Mac originally.
Gotcha.
Software. And they had the recommended specs. And when they told me, oh, that is the most powerful Mac we can sell you, and it was like $5,000 in 1995.
Yes. So like $15,000.
Yeah, that would be like 50,000 today. Or that would be a big chunk of money. I was that close to getting my credit card up and just buying a Mac to get it. But I held off because I used Windows like I still do. PC. So I actually went back and thinking about it, and I realized there was a phone number to the company,
Okay.
or there was the company name or something, and I found the phone number. So I called them. They were up in Seattle, and I called them and say, is this for P? And I said, do I need to buy a Mac to do? I said, no, we're working on a Windows version.
Okay.
It's going to come out in a year or 9 months or whatever. And they were so friendly. They shipped me one for free. The first one, they shipped me a box. They took my address and just shipped me a box to Sweden, back where I used to live. And so I got a box of that first software. It was like $100 or something like that, $75 or something. So it was,
Really?
yeah, because it was tricky to, then I had to find out a way to buy it, so to speak, because online, realize this is before the internet. You can just
you're not buying. Yeah, you're not buying stuff online back then. Yeah.
Then you had to go to a store and buy it, or you have to mail order and all that crap. So they just sent me one.
This is for the kiddies out there.
Yeah.
This is before SSL even existed on the web.
Yeah.
So putting your credit card out on it was not a good idea.
Exactly. It was
Yes.
it was really tricky. So they actually shipped me the first box of that software, and I took probably about a year to get it to do what I wanted it to do, because I realized that I've been newbie at this and everything looked like crap. But eventually I found the look that I wanted.
Okay.
And I started doing small little chunks at a time. And then because I had a Pentium with like 16 megabytes of RAM or something, so you can only take small pieces of terrain in there. And I used CorelDRAW, and then I switched to Photoshop, and I edited each little piece, so to speak. And I kept doing it. And I also put together the maps like a letter size at a time.
Okay.
And that was what I did. And since I was busy working, it was just a hobby. So I did like one of these, maybe 2, maybe 3 of these a year.
Okay.
For the first couple of years. And then the internet came around, and I had done like 5 or 6 of them. So I set up a website, put them on the line, and I got like maybe one email every 6 months saying, oh, these are cool, but they usually complain if something was wrong or whatever. So I realized
fans complaining that you got something in the lore wrong?
Yes, yeah.
That never happens.
So then I realized that I need to study more, because in the beginning I just did them
Sure. Yeah.
game. But then I realized that others can actually make use of them.
Okay.
So I started researching more, and I started making them better, and I went back and made better versions of them and stuff like that. And then it took off around 2002 or something like that. I probably had about 100 people that stayed in touch with me regularly to do it. And I kept it up, and then I was so busy, so it was kind of a low for a couple of years, but I did a few per year, so to speak. So I probably had done about a quarter of the map when I decided it was time for me to move to California. So for other reasons, I decided I'm going to quit my job in Sweden and move to California. So then I needed something to do. So I realized now is the chance. I'm going to take a couple of years off and just finish my Greyhawk map.
Really?
Yeah. So I was fortunate. I used to have a job that paid well, so I was fortunate enough to not having to work for a year. So I planned that when I moved, that now I can just get settled and so on. And so I started working on my maps, and it took me about 2 years to finish it. And in the meantime, then a bunch of publishers reached out, like Kobo Press and so on. And so I just kept doing my Greyhawk map, and I started doing other maps on the side. And then Patreon came around, and then I started setting up a Patreon. I was one of the first like 1,000 or so creators on Patreon.
Really?
And yeah, so I was one of the founding creator generation on Patreon. I still have they still give me a bonus because I was one of the early ones on Patreon. Yeah.
So you're like, it was like just accidental. You were just doing something for yourself and like, oh, people like this, and just
yeah. And then I kept doing it. And the whole idea for me is to give it away. I do it Creative Commons. I give it away because I want it to be like raw materials for every Greyhawk gamer to make their own version of it. So that's the whole idea. I deliver raw materials for gamers to tweak and use, so to speak. It's so not an end product. It's raw materials for Greyhawk DMs, players, streamers, and bloggers, whatever, to use, and heraldry and stuff that they use as a base for their content. So
really cool.
So I'm more like a content delivery person when this comes.
I love it.
Yeah.
So for you need to understand what the detail is in this, because when Anna's saying she's not doing Photoshop, and like the elevation map is there.
Oh yeah, the new generation. Yes,
so,
there's a whole new generation.
So like, where have you gotten all the information, like all the elevation data, all the climate data?
I create that.
So you
create
like
that, yeah.
went like this would
Yeah.
make sense
Yeah,
if it was a
because I
planet.
do it like a real world cartography project.
Okay.
But the problem is, if you do real world cartography, you use satellite image, you use radar, lidar, aerial photography, and stuff like that. The problem is that when the world doesn't exist, so I have to survey by reading the text, looking at other maps, and then I have to use fractals and algorithms and stuff to create the height map
Mm-hmm.
and stuff, so to speak. But I want it to look believable, like it's real world. And that means I have to take a lot of inspiration and knowledge from the real world and then use the same type of tools but in a different way.
Okay.
Yeah, so instead of gathering the data, I have to create the data.
That's
Yeah.
pretty wild.
Yeah.
So how intense is that process?
It took me 10 years to figure out how to do it.
Starting when?
About 10 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, or it's about 15 years ago, because I started about 2010 to work with the new generation of, because Bryce I've been using for decades.
Right,
And
okay.
Bryce was good for creating cute little pieces of terrain, but it was not anywhere near what was needed for something of this scale. And it was interesting. I saw there was a Middle Earth project that started in 2002, 2003. It was a German guy, and they were a whole bunch of Middle Earth fans.
Okay.
They started a digital version of Middle Earth, and I was so jealous. And I looked at it, it was like, okay, I'm going to look and learn from them. And they did some fantastic, spectacular results up front, but then they ran out of steam. And
Okay,
now I
okay.
understand why. In the beginning, I was like, oh, yeah, but they must have screwed up somehow, whatever. But now I realize that back with the hardware, should be somewhere.
Somewhere around.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
I've seen them around here everywhere. So yeah, but the so back then the software and especially the hardware was not anywhere near. Meaning, if you want to render an area 10 by 10 miles
Right.
at a high resolution, when I started testing that 10 years ago, it took 4 days to render. 4 days on a computer to render.
Just 10 years ago.
Yeah, 10 years ago. Now I can do that in probably about 10 minutes with my current setup.
It's insane.
Yeah, so that is the level of improvement, so to speak.
Cool.
So that way I realized I'm betting that Moore's law will save me. But now Moore's law is coming to an end, but now there's cooler software coming, so to speak. So you get
Okay.
improvement in software and hardware too, because now you will probably be able to do server farms and stuff, but I still have 2 really powerful workstations.
Uh-huh.
Be talking $6,000 plus for each computer
All right.
to run.
Let's talk
to
about the
render.
iterations of the
Yeah.
map here. So you went from doing chunks.
Yeah, and then I
now
put them all together when I
Yep.
had 64-bit software that I can actually put the whole world together in one bit, so to speak. And that
My
took a
friend
while.
Justin is watching. Hi, Justin. So
Yeah.
okay.
And that was about 2012 when I decided now I have 64-bit Windows, 64-bit Illustrator and stuff. So I merged it all into one
Okay.
and added Hipmola and stuff. That worked for that generation. But then I needed to do
Excuse me.
a new version. So I while I was finishing that up, I was learning to do the next generation
Okay.
in parallel. So to speak.
How hard was it to migrate?
To learn the new process was really tricky because there was a whole bunch. First, I have to learn terrain software, meaning it's
Right.
3D programming.
Yeah, it's not just painting the map.
Exactly. It's 3D programming from the get-go. It's like visual program where you put the data flows and it's like visual, but it's programming. And then I had to learn GIS, meaning geographical information systems. So I have to know how projections work and all that stuff, because once you work with 3D in a world you have to visualize, you have to be able to take these pieces you do and place them correctly in a map.
In a
On the
spherical
globe
object,
and,
yeah.
And that took a lot of knowledge. So I basically taught myself. I knew GIS previously as user of it,
Gotcha.
and I have
okay.
a lot of navigational skills and stuff. So I know how maps work from a user perspective. But now I had to create them. So I basically took my own college class and I bought the big, and people, it's good because I had some of my patrons and stuff. They had gone through GIS, so they gave me their big books of stuff. So I read through that as on my spare
Oh,
time.
wow.
So that was part of my job to learn. So I've basically taken myself a college class in GIS as well. And that way I started to understand how it's done in the real world. And that way, because I had to first create the data and then feed it into the pipeline to
Mhm.
create the maps and stuff. And then I had to take the results and then touch it up in Photoshop to make it look a bit fantastical, so to speak.
That's
And
really cool.
Yeah, so it's a long process to learn, but once you have the workflow set up, it's not that difficult.
Okay.
Yeah, learning it is more difficult than doing it.
Than doing. Okay.
Yeah.
So iterations of the map. Starting 1 pixel was a half mile.
Yeah, or something like that. Yeah.
What was the next iteration
The
of the
next
map?
iteration was roughly a pixel every 100 yards or so. And then it was 100 feet. Now I'm down to 5 feet per pixel.
And how much of the Greyhawk map do you have done right now at that scale?
I've done at 5 feet per pixel, I did about 10,000 square miles for my own game as a test rig, so to speak. So I did Shield lands at 5 feet per pixel. Basically, most of the Shield land as a country.
You
at
have
fi-
to
so-
see these
So
pictures, by the
it's
way.
like a virtual tabletop map of a whole country.
It's insane.
Yeah, and now I've done over 1 million at 100 feet per pixel. Over 1 million square miles. I've done like a third
So-
of Greyhawk.
How does it work when you're like increasing the scale? Are you just zooming in on a block and
Well,
redoing
At
it, or
first, I was actually trying to work from the high resolution and then zoom out and do a low resolution version
Okay.
of that. I thought that would be the best.
Okay.
But I realized after a while that no, it's too hard. So now I'm actually going to do, my plan is to try and do the whole planet at 100 feet per pixel.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, and then I can zoom in and do detailed versions of areas of interest, like around big cities and stuff like that, adventure areas, and do them at 5 feet per pixel, maybe even 10 feet or 20 feet per pixel.
The whole planet at 100 feet
Yeah.
per pixel.
Yeah, that's the plan.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Now, I don't want to give away your seminar,
Oh, yeah. No,
but pandemic hit,
yeah.
and that for your project,
And that
that was a
actually,
big help.
yeah, because everybody was sitting at home and had nothing else to do.
Right.
Yeah. And one of the fun parts that happened was that since I started modeling the planet, I needed to think about climate, meaning where do jungles appear, where do deserts appear, and stuff like that
Mhm.
naturally. And a friend of mine, she's a professor at University of Stockholm, and her is oceanography and climate science.
Right.
She's an expert at that. So I emailed her and said, well, I'm working on this on a fantasy planet and stuff. And she was like, oh, cool. And since she was sitting locked up at home and couldn't go to work and no students to teach during this. So all of a sudden that she thought, this is so cool. We should have a Zoom conference. We had a Zoom conference. And soon she had gathered like half a dozen of her colleagues that was from geologists to climate science and atmospheric experts or whatever. So I had like half a dozen professors and doctorates who had doctorates in climate science and stuff. And we worked on that, and we did a climate map of Earth, the planet of Greyhawk, so to speak. So
It's
that was
so
real.
cool.
That was so cool because I got all these experts because they were all sitting at home and had
We're
too
bored.
much. They
You
were
got nothing to
bored.
do.
They wanted something to do. So that was perfect timing. So that was a lot of fun.
So so you literally have the whole climate map of Earth.
I have a first version of it. Yes,
Okay.
I would say a first rough version. So I can use that, and then we go in and create it. And also, since it's a fantasy planet, you need to tweak it a little bit here and there.
Right.
Meaning you want things that are, meaning fantasy thrives when it's a little bit more of the extremes.
Yes. Yes.
So to
yes.
speak. You want the cool, iconic locations like desert, jungles, polar, and so on.
Yep.
So, and that was probably something that the Gary Gygax and the other people that created Greyhawk and the world of Greyhawk, they tilted the planet 30 degrees instead of 23 degrees.
So it is more extreme.
Exactly, because that way you get what gets squished away is the temperate areas. So you get bigger tropics and bigger polar.
That's
and
awesome.
I think that was on purpose to get, because you want
So they
more
knew
of the,
enough that
yeah,
that's
exactly. I think that was on purpose because they knew it would get more like winters will be more extremes, summer will be more extremes,
okay.
and you will have more deserts and jungles and more polars and a little bit less of that in between area.
So when you were working on that first climate map
Yeah,
and you had that 30-degree angle in,
yeah.
how well did that match up with what was already in existence?
It was fairly well. We had to squeeze a few regions here and there and come up with a few exceptions. But not too bad, so to speak.
That's
Not
pretty,
too bad.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's pretty impressive.
Oh yeah, because there is like a weather system and so on. So when they wrote the rules, they knew a thing or two about climate back then, so to speak. But we also
Okay.
have to realize that even the best scientists didn't know half of what we know today about
Yes.
climate back in the mid 70s when
Yeah.
this was conceived. So,
Mhm.
so for the time, I think they did a spectacularly good job, so to speak, because we have our knowledge of planet Earth and its climate have increased tremendously in the last 50 years.
They really have.
Yeah, so that meant that it had to be refined, but I still wanted it to be mainly true to the stories.
Yeah. Oh,
Because
yeah.
that's why I see the maps is like the canvas where the stories play out.
Mhm.
That's my view of it. So I try to deliver the canvas for the stories to play out.
It's pretty wild.
Yeah.
The process. Anytime you can see her do this, it's so cool. Because
Yeah,
you blew my mind at Game Hall.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. So yeah, and I stream on Friday evenings. I sit and work and doodle on things, so work in Work Machine, whatever, so people can pop over in. I thought it would be as interesting as watching paint dry. But I had like
No.
40, 50 people who come on every week and take a peek, so to speak.
No, it's the
Yeah.
absolute best.
Yeah.
It's of course it's that
Yeah,
fun.
so it's very boring to watch, but we banter, and I have a friend of mine, Linda. She's off and on Fridays as well. So whether she's working or just playing games, but yeah. So,
But
Yeah.
you were fun to watch because you're just watching and you're like dun 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 dun, and then suddenly there's just this pip, and you think about it, it's like, oh my gosh, that was an absolute hysterical thing that
Yeah.
Anna just said.
yeah, and that's the fun when you work with algorithms, stuff like that, and procedural. It generates cool stuff. So you just try to squeeze it in to get what you want, and all of a sudden you get cool stuff. And yeah,
So of the whole process, and you've been doing this for so long, what's been the favorite part of the process so far?
the favorite part is when you put together a terrain and you find cool places like that. You get like when you work on a volcano and stuff, and the terrain gives you these little cool places. You realize that's a perfect spot to build a castle, or that's where the orc tribe will hide out and have its lair, and you get an interesting coastline with some little islands and stuff. And yeah, so that's why I always save every iteration, because sometimes when you update something, you screw up something else.
Mm-hmm.
So that way you kind of so you fall in love with these little places that you create, and
That's
then
awesome.
especially when you put like texture and stuff in, you start seeing, you can visualize it at the end. That's really cool when the country you've been adventuring in comes to life, so to speak,
Mhm.
and you can see it, and you can see, oh, that's where this happened and that's where that happened and stuff. That's
Cool.
so I love that part.
And so now you started with Greyhawk, and now you are the fantasy cartographer,
Yes.
making maps for places that don't exist.
Yeah.
Which is the greatest
Yeah.
description ever.
So I took my hobby and just ran with it. Yeah.
So we talked about you were on Cobalt for you're doing that with
Oh yeah, I've worked with Kobold like for over about 10 years, a decade. I mapped Midgard.
uh-huh.
Yeah.
Is there what are other things would people recognize your maps from?
Or Gamehole Publishing have their new organized play. Yeah.
We did our video at Gamehole in front of her
Yeah.
map. It was fun.
Yep.
Do you use the same process for that? You're doing the 3D?
That one is that one is used the simplified version of the ones that we'll use for my new Greyhawk maps. Yeah, because when you do commission, you are on the budget, both time-wise and money-wise.
Okay.
Usually, time is usually the big constraint.
Gotcha.
You
All
have
right.
to deliver. You have like 9 months or a year or something like that. You have to do it. But with Greyhawk, thanks to my patrons who have patience with me, I can simply work on something until it's good enough and then release it.
Gotcha.
So sometimes I work on projects for 5-6 years and then release something. So that means that I can work until I think it's good enough.
You are working, putting things out Creative Commons,
Yeah.
and you're working with the open source development model.
Yes.
When's it going to be done? When
Uh,
it's finished.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yes.
And I do updates. The old Greyhawk map I updated every year for 10 years. And this year that will be the latest edition of it. That will be both for print and digital updates. So the existing map that was finished in 2012, I've basically done an update at least every other year.
Cool.
Yeah, so people send me things that should be added and typos and whatever. So and then I simply collect all these notes And then once a year, I take a couple of weeks and I go through all the notes and I update the map and then publish a new release.
I love that.
Yeah.
So people can get print copies?
Not yet.
Okay.
The problem is that the current version was when the internet came around, and I realized that in the beginning I did small pieces because of course I assumed they would be printed,
Yeah.
put in sheets in a binder.
Yeah.
But then the internet came around and I realized, no, it's cooler to just use PDF or you can use it online. And also because I simply assumed that everybody will be like me, they would change the map every session.
Gotcha.
So that's why I also give away the Illustrator version so people can download the file I'm using and make their own version of it.
Okay.
That's part of the Creative Commons. But most gamers seem to want it in print. A lot of gamers want it in print. But for me, it's like it's cheaper to buy a 4K TV and put it on the wall than it is to buy the printer.
And I can update it when I want. Yeah.
Exactly, and they can use it for other stuff.
But I can't put it online for my my set. That's the issue.
So now I will go down and do a version that is geared for prints.
That's going to be really cool.
So this year, and I just have to find a place where they can really print it well. So I will start doing, I think, 24 by 36 inch PDFs that are geared for that, because that's a standard format. You can go to any copy shop or print shop, and they can probably print really good 24 by 36 inch. It's big enough to be useful, and it's small enough to be cheap. Usually costs like $30 or something like that to get it, or $30, $40, which is, people can pay that to most people can overcome that cost. But if you want to print the whole thing, it will be bigger than this.
It's crazy.
Yeah, and a lot of people print it, but they print it smaller, and that means that you can't read it.
All the text is all.
Yeah, it's too small.
People don't understand how image compression works.
Exactly, and a lot of printers have printed. I've seen probably 5 or 6 maps, but they haven't been. The quality is not really good enough.
Have you ever tried printing it?
Oh yes, I printed once. I printed 2 of them, and I actually printed the whole map on 13 by 19 sheets.
That's
and
awesome.
It was 68 sheets, I think, or something like that.
13 by 19.
Yeah, 13
what size
by 19.
paper is that?
That's 13 by 19.
I'm trying to figure out.
Yeah, that's the biggest you can print in a lot of the inkjet printers you buy at home. That's the biggest paper you can put through. So I simply took that, and it cost me like 3 inkjet cartridges. So it cost like $200 or something in ink just to print it.
My gosh.
Yeah. So and also for me it would be ridiculous because I would change it every session.
Yeah, so why would I bother?
Yeah, meaning it's cheaper to buy, meaning just with the inkjet I could have bought a 4K TV. Yeah, because you can get them for like $300 now.
Seriously, and they're like a 55-inch TV is like $190.
Exactly. So you can get that cheaper than you can use it. So in that sense it's much better, or projector or whatever. So yeah.
Love everything about that. All right, enough about maps.
Okay.
Because you talked to me last time that we talked.
Yeah.
You are working on a game.
Yeah, I'm working on a rule set. It's like what they call heartbreaker in the industry.
Yes.
Your version of fantasy roleplay that will not sell and no one will like it, kind of thing. Yeah. So, but it's simply, I see it as my tool set for running my games.
Put that to your mouth. So
Okay, sorry.
I want people to hear about this.
Yeah.
All right. You can say, I'm trying to get away from the game. So
yeah.
You're going to release this as Creative Commons as well, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
What's the setup for it?
The setup is it's my version of D&D, basically, because I play D&D and Pathfinder and stuff like that. So I want both myself and anyone else who use it to feel at home.
Gotcha.
But it's basically, I looked at my favorite versions of D&D was probably 3.5 and Pathfinder first edition.
Okay.
But the problem was that in the beginning, I loved those editions. I loved the feats, the prestige classes, and all the crunch. But after playing it for a decade, I realized that it takes forever.
Yeah.
The math escalates into, so there was a lot of math issues, and it took forever, and so on. And so I realized I need a better tool. And then Pathfinder 2 and 5e came around. And I realized both of these are mathematically very interesting because they play better and they function mathematically.
Gotcha.
But then I realized that 5e is like fantasy superheroes.
Yeah.
And I wanted something way grittier. I wanted something that was set for a gritty sandbox game. And I wanted also there's a couple of dimensions. Most rule sets, they function or they concentrate the effort on having cool combat mechanics
Gotcha.
and cool like spell casting mechanics and stuff. And I realized that I want that there, but my goal is to have a rule set that is simply doing its job and then stay out of the way. I don't want the mechanics to be complicated or overwhelming or deep and super crunchy.
You have made me happy.
Yeah. So
Yes.
I want a game that, and also want the game to scale differently, because one of the problems is if you take a game like 5e or most fantasy role plays that are based on class and so on, that means that you either play a fighter or a wizard or cleric, and then you just play that character and you just get better at swinging your sword or whatever all the way up to like 20th level.
Right.
And the problem becomes that you scale so high that there is only like 10 monsters in the world that you get too good at these narrow things.
Right.
So
It's that classic problem of like goblins are great for like 2 levels.
Exactly.
But they're also
Yeah,
the classic
yeah.
monster.
So I wanted a game that changed in nature from low level to high level and epic.
Okay.
So it's there is it's still levels in I call it Hawk Tales because it's like Greyhawk, so to speak.
Okay.
So I
Okay.
call it Hawk Tales. I don't know if that will be the fine. It's the working name, so to speak, for the
Gotcha.
project. Yeah. So I want the rules. So they're in the tiers of play. When you start out at 0 level, you can start out at 0 level if you want to,
Okay.
and then you're basically not a threat to hardly anything. You can be these dumb villagers that go around chasing rats and be scared of whatever, so to speak.
Yes.
And then as you learn and master new things and so on, then the nature of the game will change. So in the beginning, if you play a 0 level character, the game is super simple.
Okay.
Yeah, so no fancy mechanics, very simple. But as you level up and become part in that bigger world, it gets more complicated. So spell casting, that was in the beginning just super simple. I can learn a few spells, I can dabble, I can throw them at the enemy, or I can boost my whatever.
Mhm.
Simple. But then you realize that, oh, there's more features to it. Because that's one of the things that I wanted to build in. Meaning the characters, the game loops normally in D&D and others is like you have the combat round, and then you have like your daily things, and then you maybe have a little bit of downtime to heal up
Right.
and level up. But I wanted things that affect the whole life cycle of the character. So
Mhm.
there is like a metaphysical things. You have death saves is not something you have like 3 and then you fail. Death saves are permanent failures, and they affect the outcome in the future of the character. So there is a metaphysical side. And then there's a bunch of stuff that happens. You're standing in the multiverse of the character. So,
Mhm.
so if you're a cleric and you can turn undead, if you screw up and get corrupted or whatever, then that ability goes down. So you have to realize when I go down into that evil temple, if I die in there, my character never gonna come back.
Right. Okay. 'Cause
Yeah,
you're eating.
yeah, so there are more effect that doesn't play into low level play, but as you go up in tiers or play in levels, it gets more complicated. So, but that was by design, so to speak.
But complicated,
Yeah.
but not the crunch isn't the same
Exactly,
level.
it's thematically more complicated. Yeah,
So-
the crunch is. I tried, and I've run about 100 play test sessions now, and I had a group that we played at Virtual Greyhawk that had between 15 and 18th level characters, and that played almost as fast as it was no big difference playing 5th to 9th level characters.
Okay.
So yeah, because combat, when you instead of getting more attacks, you just do pile up more damage.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so you get more damage dice because that way you don't have to do more die rolls just because but you can either dole it out to attack more enemies, or you can also defend yourself better.
Okay.
by
How does
automatic-
defense work?
I have a thing called prowess. So when you get more combat ability, you have more prowess.
Okay.
That means that you can face more enemies and still not be that vulnerable.
So it's not necessarily like an armor class situation.
Yeah, you have armor class as well. But prowess means that normally you roll a defense roll, because one of the
Okay.
other things is that me as a DM or GM, I want to roll as little as possible, and the players
Gotcha.
do almost every roll, so to speak.
Cool.
So as a GM, the GM should facilitate the game and think about the tactical considerations, things like magic resistance and what do the monsters do next
Right.
and stuff like that. And the players do the number crunching, the die rolling, and the math and so on and so forth. So that means that the players are equally busy when the monsters and the opponents have their round and
Gotcha.
their turn.
Gotcha.
And that was also by design because I simply want it should be lazy to run. And it's like a division of labor.
That's one of the things I love about running Cypher System.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
didn't think I would like it.
Yeah, but I took that idea from
Yeah.
there, so to speak, and I thought that was a smart way of doing it. But
Yeah.
some GMs or DMs love to roll dice and stuff. But me as a player think it's boring when the monsters get their roll. The game master just keep rolling the die and tell me this happens. Yeah. So that way, instead of having an armored monster attacks, you have a defense roll.
Yeah. Like Easy D6 does that. I love it.
Yep.
The Monty Cook games, I don't roll dice at all. Love
Exactly.
that.
Because I want to make the tactical decision and keep track of the overall situation.
Mhm.
And then the players do all the mechanics and all the nitty gritty. That's on the players. And a lot of players like that because they get to engage with the game throughout the whole combat, not only when it's their turn,
Okay.
but also when it's the enemy's turn.
That's good because you have something. There's a reason to pay attention.
Exactly.
You don't want to get up and watch TV.
Yeah, and it's your chance. You have to roll to avoid getting hit and stuff. So yeah.
Very, very important.
Yeah.
All right. So the metaphysical aspect of the game is something I always thought was really interesting when we were talking about.
Yeah.
So this is a sandbox style.
Yeah.
So these characters are going to be running around doing stuff.
Mhm.
So do you have a way to track time? Like, are they aging as they level up? Like, how's that working?
Yeah, and so I'm still working on the details, but the idea is that that's based on your ancestry, meaning you're a human,
Right.
and also then comes with an essence. So
Gotcha.
that's your life force, so to speak. So humans, for instance, have a soul,
Okay.
and that means that you mechanically function a certain way.
Gotcha.
Yeah, you have death saves a certain way and stuff. If you're an elf that have a spirit, for instance, that means that you function mechanically different.
Gotcha.
Yeah, because you only have one death save.
Going a
But
little bit Tolkien.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yep. So there can be, and there's like 16, 70 different. You have all the undead ones. How do
But you can
demons
be an
and devils?
undead person?
Oh yeah, technically, yeah, because I treated every creature have the same rules. So technically, you can play anything. Yeah.
Oh, and you use wounds?
Yes, I use hit points and wounds. So as long as there's like 4 state of health,
Okay.
you have like unblooded, you have more than half your hit points, you're healthy.
Gotcha.
And then if you lose half your hit points, you're blooded. That means that you take
Okay.
that. Then you get certain effects, like it's much harder for you to rest and stuff like that.
Gotcha.
You don't lose any combat ability. But then when you run out of hit points, you start taking injuries.
Okay.
And that's when you have to start rolling for death saves and stuff like that to stay afloat. And you risk having to roll for death save. You can simply brave it and say, I'm going to stay in the fight to the bitter end,
Okay.
so to speak. And then you fail a death save and so on. That magic can save you. So that's when things get really nasty after you lose all your hit points. But you're still in the fight, so to speak, if you want to. So
Gotcha.
you decide when you need to risk a death save. But
Okay.
the longer you wait, the riskier it gets. So you can it's a
Gotcha.
trade-off. And and that's also armor can help, because armor gives you both a hardness and a more difficult to hit to a degree, but
Okay.
it primarily takes hit points away from the attacker.
Gotcha.
But it also helps you by increasing your death save bonus.
Really?
Yes. So you can, if you have a plate mail or really good magic armor,
Yeah.
you can stand and fight even after you lose all your hit points longer, so to speak.
Because
But
you're
so-
just there. I'm just rolling. I got a +7 on that. I'm
exactly.
going.
That
Okay.
means that you can stay longer. But if you lose or fail a death save, that's a permanent takeaway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how do death saves work?
Death save, there are 2 types of you get. If you have exertion, is the general meta currency you use for everything, like turn
Okay.
undead and a whole bunch of stuff to do special maneuvers and stuff. You have an exertion pool. And as long as you have exertion left, you have 1 free death save.
Okay.
So you can fail 1 death save a day, so to speak, if you want to in combat.
Okay.
And it will not be a permanent problem. But if you fail more than that, that will be a permanent scar on your character's
So
career.
my
so to speak.
characters would be running around with like missing eyes and limbs and
No, yeah, but also primarily you get less life force.
yeah.
So
that
then
would,
you
that
will-
would be my character.
Yeah. So you only have normally you have 3. Most humans have 3 presence, meaning that one of the that's 3 metaphysical stats. Like you have the 6 normal ones in D&D.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and then you have 3 metaphysical ones. Comeliness, presence, and corruption.
Love
And
everything about
comeliness
it.
is how good of a standing you have in the world, and presence is how much life force you have.
It's really cool.
And then corruption is how much you screwed up.
Are you at this point? Have you released anything for public consumption?
Not yet, but I plan to do it this year.
Okay.
So I've done one first generation alpha, play tested it about 100 times, and now I've rewritten it to a second generation, and now I'm going to play test a couple of times to see because I've tweaked it a bit, so I want to see that I didn't screw up too bad.
Gotcha.
And then I will release the first alpha rules, but that will just be the crunchy rules, no fluff text.
Gotcha.
So
okay.
people can start using it if they
around
want to.
with it and see if they want
yeah,
to.
and it's Creative Commons. I will give it all away. Yeah. And one of the goals with this is that people can use it as a way as a base for their homebrew, to build their own source.
Gotcha.
Because it will be, instead of just an SRD, it will be, you can do whatever you want with it. Yeah.
It's Creative Commons. It will be out there for people. Do you have any plans to do a print version of it?
Yeah, I've already been asked so many times, and there's a couple of game publishers and stuff who has printing capable. Oh, you should do Kickstarter, do it. So we'll see if I get enough interest once it's through beta and stuff. So in a couple of years, it might be good enough. So then I might run a Kickstarter or something to do get professional editing, get art. And if that's successful, then the print run might be. Yeah.
That would be really, really cool.
Yeah. So we'll see. But first, I need to get the rules so good.
Putting that away from your face again.
Yeah. So I can really, make sure it's good enough. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk cons.
Yeah.
Because I asked you how you were doing.
Yeah.
And Anna's response was, I'm around gamers. It's a good day.
Yeah. Definitely.
What do you love about conventions?
First of all, meet all the wonderful people that share the same passion as me about this. Yeah. That's the primary reason, because I don't go ahead to game much. I usually run a game at least at every convention.
Okay.
And then I might play in a game or two. But normally I run a game, I have my seminar, and I'm usually on a panel on 2 or 3 other seminars.
Gotcha.
But apart from that, I usually just hang around, meet all the wonderful folks that I know and friends and stuff. Yeah.
And what makes smaller conventions like Page so much fun?
First of all, it's easier to actually find people. The
That's
really
a good
big
point.
ones like Gen Con, and I've been to 8 Gen Cons. They are amazing as a spectacle for their sheer size, but when the convention is literally more than 50,000 people in a place, and it's literally 2.5 miles from one end to the other,
That's crazy.
it can take 45 minutes just to find the location you're going to.
Mhm.
And it just to see the whole of Gen Con takes a whole day.
Yeah, I don't
Just to
think I
see
could
the vendor
ever
hall.
go to Gen Con.
Yeah, but you should. It's like the Hodge. It's like the pilgrimage.
I
think
know.
every tabletop role-playing gamer should go there once in your life so you can experience the spectacle and the sheer awesomeness of it.
When I retire,
Yeah,
that might be
but
good.
it's not the place I want to go and game, for instance. And I've been to Gen Con 8 times, and I worked in booths. I've had seminars and stuff like that at Gen Con, but I never played at Gen Con. Not a
You've
single
never
time.
played at Gen
No,
Con?
that was been the principle. I've been 8 times to Gen Con, never played a game.
Really?
Yep, I've just hang out with people, been on seminars, had seminars, and worked at booths and stuff. So yep,
There is
yeah,
and I say this for folks on my channel, for going to a convention,
Mhm.
I recommend it to everybody. I'm such an introvert, so the first time I went to like PAX Unplugged, I was
Yeah.
terrified.
yeah,
But you begin to know people
yeah,
to where going to a convention is literally just hanging out
Yeah.
with friends that
Yep.
you are
Yep.
that you
And you
meet
make
like
new
3 times a year.
friends.
It's wild.
yeah. And also, when you're gaming and doing stuff, everybody comes to a convention, meaning they sacrifice time and money and all the effort of going to a convention. So people are really stoked and ready to have fun.
Yes.
Meaning, when you run your home game, people are stressed. They have kids in the background, and the dog needs to go for a walk,
and the dog was
and so on and so
mean,
forth. I made it to the game this week too. But when you set up and run a game at a convention, you get super motivated gamers who decided to spend 2 or 3 or 4 days gaming, having fun. They have their equipment with them. They are ready, and they're really motivated.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so in that sense, meaning we have self-selected conventions goers are the really diehard fans and are passionate about it.
And generally, this is
Yeah.
nothing's universal. Generally, people tend to be very, very kind.
Yes. But I think that's role playing, meaning I've been active in many other communities and professions and stuff.
Mhm.
And I think gamers, we are collaborative. We have self-selecting because we are collaborative in nature.
We have to play.
Exactly. But and our games are not combative or opponent. We are not there to win over others. We are
Mhm.
here to create cool memories and stuff together, so to speak, create stories and stuff together. And I love that cooperative nature. So we have self-selected to be cooperative and inclusive
Which
for
is
the most part. There are exceptions, of course, but for the most part, more than other communities.
yes.
Yeah.
It's different.
Yeah.
And this is my third year page.
Yeah.
Were you here last year?
Yep. I was here last year.
Okay.
Yep. When it
So-
was like 1/3.
It
the
was
size.
1/3. Like
Yeah.
we're in like the other side of the thing.
Yeah.
Like the
Yeah.
vendor hall was the
Yeah.
gaming room last year.
Yeah.
But it's neat to go back and see the people that you met. So I
Yes.
mean,
Yep.
it's strange. You forget how many people you meet.
Oh yeah, and that's the difficult part for me because I used to do like 6 conventions a year. Now I usually do like 4, maybe 5 conventions a year.
Yeah.
And I probably interact with like 1,000 people
Yeah.
during those conventions. And people say, "Oh, it's wonderful meeting you again." And I was like, I know that face, but I have no
I have no
idea
idea
where
who
they
they are.
came from or
This
when
is
I
where you
talked
go,
to that one.
yeah.
Yeah. So that happens, and then occasionally you have to. But usually it comes up afterwards. And one of the problems is that a lot of people they use a nickname online, on Discord, in forums and stuff. So when they have, so it's good when they have the nickname on their badge, but a lot of times they don't.
Yes.
So that way, and also a lot of people they don't show their face on camera and stuff. They do awesome content, but you can't connect to the person behind it.
Because you never know who it is.
Yeah.
But
And
here
that's-
you get to meet them.
Yeah, and that is one of my advice to other creators and stuff in this day and age of AI slop and stuff, to show that you're a real person behind the content. I think it's more and more important.
Yeah, it's very important.
Yeah, so I think use your own name and show your own face and be there personally to show that you're a person behind it. I think it's becoming really important.
Cool.
Yeah.
So what other cons are you going to this year in 2026?
GaryCon, Game Hall, and then I'm going to a small convention in Indiana.
Okay.
Yeah, that is starting up. That Brian Berg is starting up.
Neat.
Those are the only ones that I plan, but I might go to something else. There is a Orcon, a Strategicon down in LA this fall, so I might go to that one too. So yeah.
Neat.
Yep. Mhm.
The Game Hole was a blast.
Yes.
So
Yep.
I don't want to talk. We're on Paige's channel. We have to talk about Paige.
Yep.
But Game Hole was a lot of fun, and Ron
Yes.
was there, and
Yep.
so was Phil.
Yeah, but Game Hall is just like Page. It's a game, a convention that is primarily tabletop role playing games.
Yep.
And then a little bit of wargaming and board gaming on the side, but it's niche convention focused on tabletop role playing.
Yes, and it's very, very focused on that.
Yeah.
We have cool things. So, what game are you running this year?
Well, I'm running my second generation, my Hawktails.
Are you
rules.
really?
Yes.
Where are
Yeah.
you running that? When are you running it?
Oh, I'm running it tomorrow at 2 o'clock, I think it is, 2 p.m. over at the Greyhawk in the opposite corner of this big room here.
Cool. We're in a
Yep.
huge room right now.
Yep.
So you get to play your beta.
Yes.
So
Yep. Oh, it's
do you-
not even beta yet. I call it the second alpha.
second out
Yeah,
alpha
and
2.
the reason is I call it alpha is that it's not feature complete yet. There's still pieces to add. When it's
You're
feature,
doing good software
yeah,
notation.
exactly.
Yes.
When it's all feature complete, and then I will call it beta. When it's just tweaking the feature until it works, then it becomes beta. So
Gotcha.
my hope is next year, or maybe late this fall, winter. But in about a year's time, I plan to move into beta.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And what game are you playing?
I'm not playing anything in this convention.
You're not. Are you going to
Like-
try to even do a pickup game, or you just want to hang out with people
I
and say hi?
might do a pickup game. I have enough open spots in my calendar that my schedule that might actually happen.
Very good.
Yeah.
And then seminars. What are you doing?
I'm doing my fantasy cartography seminar, 2 hours tomorrow at 10 a.m.
Uh huh.
And then I'm in the panel of there is an inclusivity, diversity
With
game.
Heather and
Yes,
okay.
exactly. I'm in the panel of that one. And then we have on Saturday, we have a Greyhawk, what's happening in the Greyhawk community seminar.
Cool.
I will be on the panel for that one too.
Awesome.
Yeah. And
Very
those
good.
are the ones. And then I'm attending another 3 or 4 seminars as well.
What are some of the ones you want to go to?
A world building seminar that seems really, really cool. And then there were a couple of them that I have in my calendar that I've kind of forgot exactly what it was. But yeah,
We have to look. You're always looking at your schedule,
yeah,
and half the time you're like, I'm not going to get there.
yeah.
I
And
know that guy.
Yeah, I was gonna stand over here.
We got 5 minutes. We're good.
Yep.
We've been talking for an hour, so we're having a blast.
Yep. Awesome.
We're talking about you.
That could be a shorter conversation.
This is Chet Mitten is
Chet
coming
Mitten,
is
yep.
coming on next
Yep.
on the stream. He's going to come here and get in frame.
Yep. Yep.
So he'll
Awesome.
be here in just a minute,
Yep.
and we will talk. So I am always thrilled to be able to talk with you.
Same.
I
Yeah.
really want to get updates on the game.
Oh yeah, we can do when you have your YouTube and stuff.
We will do a
We should
YouTube.
do updates and we can do a little deep dive in Hawktail so we can present some new Greyhawk maps and stuff.
I think that would be absolutely
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you for the kindness you've shown to me.
Oh,
I
you're
always have
welcome.
to say that because I am the person with the imposter syndrome. Like I
Oh,
can't
right.
believe people even watch. So
Oh, damn, you probably have more views and stuff that I have on Twitch or whatever. So yeah, by far.
you're good.
Yeah.
But you are amazing. You are a lovely person,
Thank
and I am
you.
so grateful that you're here.
Thank you. I'm so grateful to be here, and thank you everybody for watching. And yeah,
Absolutely. We had a whole 4 people watching at one point.
yeah,
It was
that's
cool.
awesome.
So tell people where they can find you.
Or they can find me at stuff on annabmeyer.com, or they can go to patreon.com/AnnaBmeyer.
Yep.
Yep.
And go check out Anna's stuff because really, really cool.
Thank you. Yep. And there's more stuff coming. I've been a little bit slow the last month of doing stuff because I'm working on 2 commissions. One for Luke Gygax and stuff that is
Ooh.
Greyhawk related. Yeah.
Okay.
It's a Melf's guide.
Are you allowed to talk about that?
Melf's guide is open and
Okay.
that I'm working on it. That's
Okay.
all I can say.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I will
You're
let
welcome.
you get going.
Awesome.
Thank you for taking the extra time because
Oh,
you have the
thank
extra
you.
spot.
Yeah.
You are wonderful. I really
Awesome.
do.
Thank
you
you.
so much, Anna.
Yeah.
Have a great rest of the convention.
You too.
I will.
Yeah.
I'm going to be sitting here most of the time
Yeah.
or running Shadow Dark.
There you go.
Good times. If
Okay.
I'm running Shadow Dark, come and play.
I should do
Okay.
that. Yeah.
Cool.
Awesome.
All right.
Bye,
we're going to let
everyone.
you in. Bye. And now we're on with Chet.
Yeah.
Anna, that was wonderful. You are great.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
That was awesome. Yeah. Grab all my stuff here.
Yeah, get your stuff. You got your backpack off?
So I know it's
Scooch over.
Yeah.
Scooch over.
all right, brother.
We got to get in. Look at that. We're almost on the
Yeah.
third lines.
Awesome.
We're doing good. Anna,
Yeah.
we will talk soon.
It's a hard act to follow now. I
I-
admire.
She's
So,
hard to not stop
yeah.
talking to
Yeah,
because there's so
Yeah.
many interesting things going on.
yeah. She told you she was a jet pilot, correct?
Oh, I knew that.
Yes,
Oh, she
yeah.
told me all sorts of
Yes.
things about what she
Okay,
did. I don't
okay,
think I'm allowed
excellent.
to say most of them. Or I
Yes.
might disappear.
Yeah. This,
So-
this is a family
Love it.
show.
Thank you.
Take care, Anna.
All right. So I am
Yeah.
here with famously, and this is how he is
Yeah.
known in the Page community, third tier artist, Chet Meyer.
Chet Minton.
Why did I
Yeah.
say? Oh, Meyer Minton.
Yeah, yeah.
I know it started with an
I
M.
know.
I need water.
Take a drink. Yes. Yeah. So,
All right.
third tier artist that's been following me for my career for about 7 years now. So
We don't know where
Yeah.
we do know where it came from.
I do. Yeah. Actually, I got a customer asked me, or a possible client asked me to work with him and another guy to work on art for a Kickstarter. It would be their first Kickstarter. They had not done one before. We discussed what they wanted for artwork. I gave them an estimate on the price. They said, we're putting it together. It might be like 6 months from now. I said, okay, well, let's circle back. We'll talk about it at that time. Probably a good year went by. I never heard from them again. It happens. And he contacted me and said, I'm not working with that guy anymore. I'm
Oh,
doing
no.
this myself.
Okay.
I want to move forward with this project. And I said, well, it's been a little time. The prices have changed a little bit. And he said, well, let me get back to you. So another 3 months goes by and he contacts me and he says, hey, I contacted several first tier artists. So I'm assuming people like Jeff Easley or the
Gotcha. Okay.
TSR Legends or something, and their budget, it's way out of my budget. I can't afford that, so I'm looking for second or third tier artists to do the artwork. So I thought I'd come back to you. So my question was, and I made this a Facebook post. I did not use the person's name. I just copied and pasted what they said. I was asking, am I a second tier artist or a third tier artist? So
And of course, everybody went.
everyone said third. Of
course.
Yes. Yeah. And I got more comments and more reactions to that post than I ever did on any artwork ever.
That's absolutely amazing. So,
And,
hey guys.
and how we doing? I got something.
Email me Monday and ask me.
I got something for you at my booth.
Yep. So, all right. The second tier artist for me, like the fact that someone said that, if you ever wanted a more perfect example that the TTRPG space is basically made up of everybody who is neurodivergent, that's basically it.
Yeah.
Because people who don't think that. So you want to get you want to get in? We'll hop you in too.
No. Move the mic closer.
Oh.
He's got.
Yeah.
He's a. I got mine here. I have mine. I have mine here. Yeah, we're good, man.
All right. I didn't even see that.
You're fine.
The
I mean, look at. I can't be angry at somebody with that sweater on.
the Dungeon Delver is tutoring us on how to speak into a microphone.
We're good. He's tutoring famous third tier art. What
Yes.
on earth is walking by?
Oh, that is great.
There is an owlbear walking by, and the owlbear is about
Credits song on my channel.
Yeah.
8 feet tall.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hold on. I'm taking a picture. We're wasting Chet's time.
No. Take that picture.
Now I got the owlbear's
Yeah.
butt. We'll put that up. Just the owlbear's butt. So he's huge. That's insane. All right.
Yes.
Tabletop role-playing games.
Yes.
Tabletop role-playing games, they attract a certain strange type of person because it's a strange and wonderful hobby.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
You are part of the tabletop hobby space. How did you first get involved in this?
And I am a strange and wonderful
You are a
person.
strange and wonderful person.
So, so at a very young age, I had always been artistic, very into art.
Okay.
I had a lot of learning disabilities. I was very behind on a lot of things. I didn't start talking in full, complete sentences until I was about 5. I didn't start walking until I was almost 4 years old, and I had braces on my legs, and it was a whole thing. And I was in learning disabled classes, and I was playing with one of my friends. I was about 9 or 10 years old. It was during the summer, and he's like, "Hey, let's go back to my house. I want to get a drink," and blah, blah, blah. We go back, and his older brother and his friends are there playing Dungeons and Dragons.
Okay.
And normally, if you go with the older kids, don't want you around or whatever. And
Yes.
but he knew that I was an artist, and he knew that I would appreciate seeing the artwork in a lot of these books.
Mm-hmm.
And the second I saw the D&D books, I was in love, and I had to know everything about the industry. At that point, I became obsessed with it. I wanted to know everything about mythology, Middle Ages, fantasy. I was already into fantasy things like Clash of the Titans had recently come out.
The Clockwork Owl.
Yeah. And obviously Star Wars had come out in 77, and this was probably around 80, 81 when he and his brother Jim was like, no, look at these books, check them out. And so I became obsessed, and my brother and I started playing D&D, and we started getting all our friends into D&D. And of course, this is during the Satanic Panic started, and I started doing really well in school. I was moved out of the learning disabled classes. I went into honors history, honors English.
Because your brain got captured by something.
It was something that triggered and opened my mind, and I had less issues with dyslexia, and suddenly I was doing fabulous in school. I was communicating, because I used to only communicate by drawing and stuff, and I think that's part of why I was an artist
Okay.
is I got the positive feedback from drawing and doing pictures where when I tried to speak, I would get angry and upset and I couldn't finish sentences
Okay.
as a young child.
Yeah.
And so the art developed as really my first language. And
Wow.
yeah, it's interesting. Yeah. So suddenly I'm doing well in school. I'm learning to communicate better. I
Mhm.
am getting A's and B's instead of C's and D's. Or my mom really tried to keep me out of summer school and would have arguments with teachers about it. And suddenly that wasn't an issue. And then the school psychologist called one day and said, your sons are playing D&D at school
And
and they're encouraging other kids to play. And we
I am
want
listening, but there's an
yeah,
outlet.
oh, go ahead. Yes, we are encouraging you to tell them to stop playing this game and stop bringing the books to school.
What?
That is so cool.
Guys, I am not kidding.
Yeah.
There's like a 10-foot tall
It is
owlbear
10
walking
foot
by.
tall. It is gigantic. It's great. It has an escort too because it's so big. It just barely fits through the bay doors.
I got a picture.
Yeah, he'll share the picture, of course. And my mom used some foul language with the school psychologist and told him to F off, that I was finally making friends. I was communicating. I was getting excellent grades. And if they had a problem with it, that was their problem. She didn't want to hear about it.
So you got
Hung the phone up.
reverse satanic panic.
Yes.
Gotcha.
My mom was so supportive of it. It was so great. Yeah. And
So what was, I don't want to get too personal, but what was that like for your parents watching? Have you ever talked with your parents about that journey of watching you suddenly, like your brain find its path to be able to communicate with people?
so my mom told me a story about me when I was about 3 years old. My sister, who was 7 years older than me, had left out a pair of scissors. And at that time, she was trying to make some snowflakes or
Yeah,
something
yeah.
like that, folding over the paper.
Uh-huh.
And I must have seen it. And I folded it up and I cut out these complicated shapes and figures. And I was 3 years old and I showed my mom and she was like, how did you do that? And she was like,
And you don't
really
have, you don't even have the
confused.
words to explain.
Yeah, and I saw it and I just did it. And so she knew at a very young age that I had some, hand-eye coordination and ability, artistic and design and some geometry skills already.
Right.
And that I was just wired differently. I just had a different wiring.
But then you start playing and suddenly she's able to connect with you in
Yeah.
different ways.
Yeah,
What was
actually,
that like?
I became a phenomenal communicator. I actually went out of my way to learn how to speak well, not to in a superior type way or anything
Mhm,
like that,
mhm.
and just to be so that people would understand me, because I used to get very upset and very angry when I couldn't say what I was thinking or
Yeah.
feeling. When in my own mind, I couldn't even voice it or really say it correctly or well. And so that was part of my journey of being a person and a human being growing up, is learning to communicate.
Yeah.
And but it went hand in hand with my artwork. And so from a very early age, I had discovered Dungeons and Dragons.
Uh-huh.
Full circle here.
Yeah.
I discovered any book that came out with artwork, I would copy the artwork. I would redraw it because I was fascinated with it. It taught me how to draw in certain ways too. And of course there were comic books and other things,
Marvel or
And
DC?
So I don't believe there should be either or. Why can't we love both of them?
I did listen, a preference.
Yes. So I do tend to like more of the Marvel characters, but I enjoy both worlds.
Yeah, I'm a Marvel guy, but I will read like Batman.
Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah.
With Batman.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I had to jump in.
Yeah.
It's an age-old debate.
Yeah. So I enjoy all of them. Of course, I loved a lot of the Dark Horse comics that came out and a lot of the independents. You
Okay.
know, of course, obviously Image Comics
Yep.
with a group of artists
Jim
Yeah,
Lee,
yeah,
Brad Layfield, all those guys left
stepping
for
away
Marvel.
from the big industries and making their own taking care of their own self, their own rights, their
Yep.
own creations, and yeah,
It was an interesting thing.
yeah,
So for you as an artist, because I don't have that, like I know enough about design language to do like rough layouts.
yeah.
I can see when something's not current grade or when there's a space that gets with it. So that I understand. I don't have the spatial recognition to like be able to draw perspective. Like that's not intimate.
Yeah.
So when you see something, because you said as a kid you were just looking at this going, I'm
Yeah.
fascinated. Can you describe what you see? Like what were you seeing that you're like, okay, I know how this works?
So when I was 3 years old, I don't have that actual memory per
Yes, but
se.
when growing up.
But I do remember I was about 7 years old, and our refrigerator had died.
Okay.
And we had an older house from
Sure.
the late 1800s, and so the doorways were small. But we did have a sunroom that my dad had built with a sliding glass door.
Okay.
And he's got all his tools, and he's getting ready to pop one of the doors off to bring in a brand new refrigerator that's bigger than the old one that had just failed. And I said to my dad, why don't you just turn it this way and bring it through like this? And he's like, no, it's exactly the same side all the way through. And I'm like, no, it's not. I could see it.
Like you saw right
I
away.
could see how he had to turn it, how he had to bring it in. And it's just something that's always been a part of me, is like the spatial distance. And so he turned it around, he pulled it through, and he's like, oh my God, I'm sorry. My dad was an old school guy.
Yeah.
But he admitted like, oh, you're right. And it was a moment in his life where he recognized that I had a certain
There's
ability.
something in you that you see
Yeah,
something different.
Yeah, because I remember a few times he would come out and ask me different questions. He's like, hey, if I did this, what do you think the problem would be, and stuff like that? Because I think he was pushing me to be a car mechanic. Like he thought, oh, maybe he needs that push. Maybe that's something that mindset would work. But I didn't like get dirty.
I don't like grubby hands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I worked in printing and publishing for over 25 years. So
Okay.
I worked on a lot of printing presses and stuff. So I got dirty. I did a lot of, blue collar, heavy lifting work, and
Mhm.
loading machines, running machines, and stuff like that. So it's not like I couldn't do it. I just prefer to sit at a drawing desk and create things and build worlds and stuff. But
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Really cool.
Yeah.
So you went into publishing. Did you go to college for art?
Okay, so I went to college. I went to a community college because I was the type of kid that did well in the classes that I chose to do well in. And other classes, I was like, I don't need this. Who cares?
Okay.
So some of my grades were mixed grades in high school,
Sure.
where I don't like that teacher, or I'm just not interested in that subject.
I don't know what that's like at all.
Yes, yeah. So I applied to several different schools, and it was suggested I start off going to community college,
Sure.
Which I did, and I did really well in the courses that I wanted to, and not
Mhm.
so well in the other courses. And at that point, my dad's like, "You're living at home for free. You're not doing well in school. I'm suggesting that maybe you should move out and take care of your own thing, because I don't think school is the thing for you."
Okay.
So I went into the Army.
Okay.
So at first I was in the National Guard,
Okay.
and then I became active duty National Guard.
Okay.
And of course, right when I was in basic training, Saddam Hussein had invaded
That's Kuwait, yeah.
Yes. So I was active duty during Desert Storm and Desert Shield before that.
You were deployed over there?
So no, I was activated, and I was helping with the support of shipping people over.
Okay.
So I was a personnel administrator. I was a combat administrator, technically.
So logistics side of things.
So yeah, so I was doing a lot of paperwork. I was like a radar for MASH, but I was supporting. So I was helping with all the arrangements of paperwork and filing and making it for the different deployment stations to send actual reserve and National Guard troops over to different areas.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I was doing that for quite a while. I was in for just under 6 years when President Clinton was trying to downsize the forces after that, and
Right.
offered basically a golden handshake to a lot of people to return to school. So there were certain types of incentives to
Okay.
take. So I was only 4 months away from my final doing my first tour of 6 years. So I signed up for that, and by the time the paperwork came through, it was already time for me to get out anyway.
Okay.
But I got certain school bonuses beyond the GI Bill and stuff like that.
Nice.
And so then I went back to school. I got a degree in fine arts, and then I got a degree in graphic design.
And that intervening gap kind of got you to the spot where like, yeah, I gotta need.
Well,
Knuckle
I
down.
grew up a little bit.
Yeah.
The administration and organization skills from the Army and what the skill set, my MOS skill set was, helped me develop certain skills that have actually helped me in my life now.
Gotcha.
I don't know if I would do it again, but it was very rewarding. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
Yeah. So at the time I was going to school, I was living on my own. I had to pay for, so I was working full time and going to school full time.
Yep.
I got a job working in printing, which I felt was, it balances out with the graphic design
Sure.
and the fine arts. So I learned a lot, and then I started making some good money. It became comfortable.
Yes.
I was going around to different conventions trying to get hired for doing comic books.
Okay.
I had some promising opportunities that just didn't get over the goal line. I
Okay.
sat down with Axel Alfonso, and he was really on the line about hiring me to do some Wolverine stuff, and
Wow.
and it just didn't work out. And
Oh.
he was suggesting me to work with some other people, and at that time he's like, well, all your stuff is fantasy and sorcery, and that just doesn't sell. And,
Okay.
and right after that, it was just fantasy and sorcery comics coming out, and I was like, but there's Savage Sword of Conan.
Everything is
and-
that. No.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
80s,
so-
it was kind of a dry comic book for
Yeah.
fantasy.
Yeah,
Except
so,
for like Gru the Wanderer.
yeah. So yeah, of course, Gru is a classic, but so for in his mindset, in me at that moment in time, it just wasn't right, and unfortunately, I took it as, okay, this is never going to happen. I'll just stick with doing the printing for a while. So I get promoted. I got more money. A lot of
Yeah,
things
yeah.
different happened. I ended up doing. I became a production manager, so I plot out different jobs as they come into the publishing company.
Uh-huh.
Then I worked in pre-press doing layouts and setting up different jobs doing that. The production manager of the company came to me one day and he said, "Hey, I want to promote you. We're going to open up a whole division of inline web press that are all digital.
Okay.
We want you to learn how to do the machines, run it, and then we're going to build a department around you." And I was like, I don't
Okay.
want to do that. I want to work in the pre-press. I leave at 4:00 every day, and I get to
Right,
go
okay.
home. I get to go
You're
home.
not taking work home with you. Yeah. Okay.
I get to do my freelance illustrations on the side. And he's like, "Listen, you're going to do this. It's a matter of how much you're going to get paid. And I need you to give me an answer on Monday, because you're not going to sit around and then leave at 4:00. And we've invested too much time and energy in you to just be that one guy punching out at 4:00.
Okay.
And I was like, so I was telling my wife, I was really stressed. I did not want to do that. I didn't want to work 12-hour days. I didn't want to work 7 days a week again,
Yeah.
because that's what it was. It was physical. It was filthy. And you're only as good as the last job that you worked on, type environment.
And if you're good at it, the only thing you get rewarded with is doing more of
you
it.
get more work, yes. And then they let people who don't do very well do whatever they want, and or get promoted. So I was really stressed about it. I went in on that Saturday to do some work, and the pre-press manager came over to me and said, "Hey, you got an emergency phone call." Long story short, my mom fell down the stairs. She had
Oh, no.
Parkinson's, and my father had dementia. So I took family emergency leave to help them out.
Okay.
My mom was in a rehab center for a few months, and it became clear to me because of her cognitive brain damage and her physical impairment that there was no way that my parents were going to be able to fend for themselves
Gotcha.
completely independent without a lot of help. So I ended up talking to my wife. We made the decision. I quit my job and I became their primary care provider for about almost 3 years
Wow.
before they both passed on.
What year was this?
So 2000, early 2017 is when my mom fell down the stairs. It was a week after my birthday.
So right about COVID hits is when you're.
So my parents passed away right before COVID, like before the shutdown.
Oh,
Before, right?
okay.
So they had celebrated their 55th wedding anniversary,
okay.
and my mom passed away a month later. And then a month after that, my dad died. And 2 weeks after that, my sister died. So I lost
Shit.
3 people.
And then
all-
COVID hit?
And then, yeah. And at that time, when I was taking care of my parents, I set up a studio in their house.
Okay.
And I was starting to get a lot of independent work, a lot of freelance stuff. Because I was like, I have to make money. I can't live on my savings. And
Sure.
I'm not going to take my parents' money because I'm helping them. You know, it's just
No,
not.
it makes sense. Yeah. Good.
And my brother was living so far away that he couldn't really help out
Gotcha.
or do that the physical stuff to help out my parents. And so I was like, I've got to do something. So I'm going to do some freelance illustration, and it became my full-time job. And I was preparing, and I was like, oh, I'm signed up for all these conventions in the area.
Okay.
And this is right after my parents died. I started getting
Yeah.
booths for conventions, and then 2020 hits, and everything shuts down. And but then I met a lot of people online during 2020 when a lot of different Zoom games, a lot of art.
Right, okay.
I was doing artwork.
Yeah.
I was playing a lot of games with a lot of people. I met a lot of people online who are some of my best friends now. People I actually see here at this convention and other conventions that I may not have ever met or known as well and called them, my friends.
Yeah.
If it had not been for COVID. I mean, it's a horrible time, a horrible moment.
I wouldn't be back in the
But-
hobby without COVID.
Yeah.
Which I'm not here, so
Yeah.
it sucks, but it had its upside. What did that
Yeah.
do for you, for you as an artist? You're meeting all these people. You're doing in games, and then all of a sudden, everybody's got time. So the Kickstarter explosion happened. What did that do for you as an artist? Did it help propel you into where you were more sustainable?
So I was working freelance, and I had to figure out how I was going to make money.
Look at this guy.
Yeah.
He's dangerous. That
John
guy.
McGuire.
John McGuire.
3, 2, 1 action.
John McGuire is a dangerous man.
Yeah.
He's not here. He can't even
I
hear
know
us.
he can't. He's taking pictures
He's
of
too
all
busy
the
taking
Star
pictures.
Wars stuff next to us.
There's Star Wars action figures over
yeah.
here. So go ahead.
So anyway, so I ended up getting into a weird niche when somebody said, "Hey, you know what? Your art style, your line form is perfect for coloring books." And I said, "All right, yeah. I've always said I was going to do a coloring book."
Okay.
So I did a fantasy coloring book. It was called Monsters, Myth, and Magic.
Nice.
That was my first coloring book. And I was like, well, I've got to figure out who's going to color. I don't know enough about that sphere of influence there.
Yeah.
And I was like on Facebook, and I was like, I just started joining all these groups. And I would put out a free coloring book, a free coloring page.
Okay.
And said, hey, this is a coloring page. If anybody's interested, feel free to, download it, print it out, and color it in. And I ended up getting a huge audience. And I have a small little cult following to this day that have been following me with my coloring book stuff.
And you're still doing coloring books out?
So I have a Patreon page, Chet Minton Artist on Patreon.
Okay.
And every month I put out a new coloring page. I was doing 3 a month. It was a little hard
That's a lot.
keep. It was hard to keep up with other commissions and stuff like that. And I've put out 7 coloring books total. And then on the Patreon page and on Etsy, I put digital coloring pages.
That's really neat.
People can buy the page printed out on the papers that they like, because people get really particular about what paper they're using, what materials they're going to use. And And I have people from 7, 8 years ago who started following me that are loyal customers and friends, and it's really cool when they come to the conventions with some of these coloring books and they have me sign that.
That's so
I'm like,
neat.
I was
And
like,
you get to see like how
and
they
that-
interpreted
yeah,
that.
yeah. Well, it is. It's like they're putting their creativity into something that I started. So it's a shared experience, very much like gaming
Yeah.
is a shared illusion of us, imagining together.
Really
and,
cool.
And they get to add their color and their touch. And I see some of the most amazing things that people do with stuff that I did artwork for. It's really fun.
It's
yeah.
pretty wild.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
We have about 5 minutes left, and I
Sure.
think if we didn't talk about this, Ron
Okay.
might toss us
Yes.
out of the place.
Yeah. Who? Ron who?
Ron, this guy who runs this convention.
Yeah.
I mean, he's going to go
Yeah.
back and watch all these, I'm sure. So, all right.
Carlos Lysing walking by.
Oh.
One of the first guys who supported me when I first started out as an illustrator. We worked on his patron page, Castle Entertainment. You've got to look. I've done a few module covers for him. Awesome writer, awesome creator and designer. He is. And I'm not just saying that because you're standing there.
Thanks, Chuck.
Yeah.
Let me get
Yeah.
Charles Ryan from Monty Cook Games walking by.
In his Big Lebowski sweater.
It is a big Lebowski
Yes,
sweater. It
yes.
is. And he's always wearing that
Yeah.
at conventions.
Oh,
Have
is
you
he?
noticed? Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
You have recently had a Kickstarter, which is currently ongoing.
Yes, we have in the final few days now. It ends on Sunday with the end of page. It's Tomb of the Ancient Moor King.
For which you are doing all the artwork.
I did all the artwork. I did a few of the maps. I did the battle map. I did the isometric map. We have an area encounter booklet with artwork of all the different areas, like TSR used to do with, like, say, Barrier Peaks.
That was the
things.
best when they
Yeah.
used to do those books.
Yeah. And it has a very old school touch. The cover itself comes off. There's the old style blue map.
Mhm.
And a lot of pre-gen characters. There are minis. There's painted examples on the Kickstarter as well.
Mhm.
That's Tomb of the Ancient Moor King. We are past our first stretch goal. We're heading towards our next stretch goal, which is we're releasing it in several different systems.
So first stretch goal was for Castles and Crusades. Second stretch goal is
I'm sorry.
failed.
Now I'm spacing.
we failed.
No, the
You want
third.
me to look it up for you?
Yeah, you're gonna have to.
You keep talking. I'm looking
yeah.
it up.
And, one of them is
We're
Shadow.
live,
One of
folks.
them is Shadow Dark, and I think the third one is Shadow Dark. I
Keep
can't.
talking.
I can't believe I forgot. I'll be over there to sign. Sorry. Yeah, that's actually somebody who bought the page module,
Oh, really?
looking for a signature.
Yeah. So the
Yeah.
there's a version that came out that was exclusive to Page, but that sold pretty well.
So it was a limited amount, 100 copies. This is that plus it has all these extras like the battle map, the dungeon tiles, pre-gen character minis.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right. So, Tomb of the Ancient Moor King, they are at $13,000. They're $13,809.
Yes,
I
yeah.
can go down to the single digits.
Yes,
And their first one was for indeed Shadow Dark.
a Pathfinder.
After two, and the third one
I can't
is
believe I
Shadow
forgot.
Dark.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
that would be good. And there's that is the weirdest image I've ever
So
seen.
that was a photo we took at ShireCon where I was on my phone and Ron came up behind me, so we took a quick photo and it was a weird,
and you're using it as a promotion.
just a goofy photo, and then Ron decided that was a great picture to use
Yep.
to promote us.
That's Tomb of the Ancient
Yeah.
Moor King, TOMB of the Ancient Moor King. It is on Kickstarter right now and ends on Sunday, which would be good. But it's not just a one-off because you have now this little company that you're doing.
So we started. So in this partnership with Ron, we decided that we have a lot of different ideas. We have several things that we wrote, things that Levi Combs from Planet X Games has created. He's joined with us, and Jen Glazer, originally from Frog Gods and Parallel Dimension, is now on board with Orange Cat Games. I'm playtesting a new module that I've written for the Shadow Dark system. It's actually, technically, this was supposed to be the first play test here at Page, but I ran it at ShireCon also, and that will be in Orange Cat Games coming out later next year. Later next year. So we decided to create a little company and put out some modules now and again. And so a lot of different creators helping us out, influencing us. We're going to have other artists besides myself, and it's going to be fun. And I appreciate everybody who has already backed our Kickstarter and enjoyed it. We're very humbled and very honored. We did not think we would be at the level of 13,800. We thought maybe a couple thousand, honestly.
I can say for certain, like Ron is blown away at how much people have supported this.
Yeah.
One of the cool things, because I have held a preprint version of this, the map cover, it separates.
Yeah.
It's if you're old school and you want that nostalgia, it's there. But also, Ron has done something wonderful in your layout design, because you realize that the people who want this are going to be tending to be people of a certain, I don't know what year you were born in.
An AARP level of age.
We are right about there.
Yeah. So I am 52.
I'm 52
Okay,
as well.
all right, okay.
73.
We're twins. Yes.
So,
I'm February.
are you a left-handed middle child?
So I was ambidextrous, so I could use both hands.
You're an
And
artist, of course.
Then I was kind of forced into using my right hand for things.
They did not do that to me. I am left-handed.
Yeah. So I can,
February what?
February 12th, Abraham Lincoln's birthday.
That's my birthday.
Is it? No way.
I am dead serious.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
We are brothers. We're twins.
Me, Chet, Abraham Lincoln, and Charles Darwin, all born on the same day.
That's.
Are you freaking kidding me?
Dude, this was not planned.
We
This
had no
is
idea.
real. Yeah.
That is
I am
amazing.
completely shocked.
So
No wonder we like each
happy
other.
birthday!
Yes,
We
happy
only got a
birthday,
month.
brother.
We just found out we were born on the exact same day.
Same year also.
73.
Yeah. Different mothers.
February 12th.
Different
Children.
mothers.
I am in the presence of children. I don't know if I can use F-bombs now or talk about drugs and alcohol.
You're fine, man. You're good.
We're talking about Bill Sylvie. Yes.
Bill's
Dungeon
got the
Crawler.
next
Yes,
shift
come
starting
on
at
in.
4 o'clock.
Yes,
You can say
yes.
hello. Hey,
I
Dan.
got the next reality shift.
Yes. So I have not heard back from Jeff, although he's around the corner. You could ask him if he's free.
Okay.
So, or I can go when I'm done. So we can see that too.
At the very least, I need his signature on something.
Well, there you go. And just ask him if he is free. He's welcome to sit down. And if
Boys
he's
and
not,
girls and boys.
if he's not free, he can tell you to walk away.
Yes.
But still sign your thing. So now we're waiting for Derek White.
Okay. Oh, Derek. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just going to invade your live stream right now. You're very lucky.
Oh,
You're a very, very
Nice.
good kid. You'll wind up with one of these.
does that have
You're a
Cthulhu?
very, very good kid. You wind up with them autographed.
Ooh.
You make me
Oh,
sad.
we got Darlene in there. All right. Oh,
Darlene.
don't ruin it.
Don't drop it. Does that have the Cthulhu in it?
Errol
Yes.
Otis.
Errol, Darlene, Jim, Dave Force, and I'm going to
Excellent.
go see if I can get Jeff D's signature.
Yeah.
He's right around the corner.
Yeah. Excellent.
Have fun.
Well, brother, I appreciate you having me on. I look forward to EcclesiaCon later this year.
Yeah, so he's going to
We're
be he's a special guest and a vendor at EcclesiaCon at May
Yes.
1st and 2nd in
Yes.
Palmyra, New Jersey.
Yes, and I hope everybody who's in that area can come out. I'd love to meet you. Love to see you. If you back the Kickstarter, I would love to sign the module at that convention as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Wonderful guy, really talented artist. Where can they find
Thank
you
you.
online?
So I made it real easy. It's chetmintonartist.com.
That's too confusing.
Chet Minton, MINTON, artist.com. All my social media, my Etsy, my Patreon, everything is Chet Minton Artist in the search engine. No dots or anything, just straight Chet Minton Artist.
And he's so much fun to interact with. So if you get a
Yeah.
chance, go check it out. All right, I'll sit here and wait for Derek, and you
All
can
right.
get back to your booth and
All
sell
right.
things.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You are
All right,
awesome.
brother.
Thank you so much.
What
What do we got?
They're right around the corner.
So he's go down 2 aisles and go left.
Oh, come on. Okay. I went immediately did a hair.
Gotcha. I think he's right. That's
Are
true.
you here?
We're live. I'm live till 4.
Great. Okay,
So-
till I take over.
Till you take over.
Well,
I'm waiting for someone.
I've had no sleep. since yesterday.
Have fun.
But I did get some vitamin B from Heidi Gygax, so I should be good to go. This vitamin B was made in Kentucky and in a bottle. So
Awesome. You guys have fun. I'll be here. So now I just got to wait for one Derek White to show up. He should be here pretty soon. We're going to talk. Hi. How are you? I'm live streaming. You want to come here? Come on over. I'm waiting. Like when Derek gets here, I have to kick you off, but you can come on for a couple minutes because I like you and you do puppies with dragons.
yes, I do.
So, all right, introduce yourself to these wonderful people.
Well, here we are.
There.
All right. I am Brent Chumley with The Art of Brent Chumley.
All right. I met Brent at Gamehole Con. I think both Ron and Chet said that I had to come and talk with you. Fantastic art. What are how would you describe your art style?
I would describe it as realism. Sometimes a little on the photographic realism side, some people say, but definitely realism.
Well, I'm looking at some of he's got like Zeppelins with dragons, and it looks photorealistic.
Yes.
It really does. I interviewed you for my channel.
Mhm.
It did go up, but how for folks who are just watching the page channel,
Mhm.
how did you get into doing art as your this is your job?
It's something that I knew I wanted to do my entire life since I was a child. So as I got through college and put together a portfolio, I went to Gen Con and literally shopped a physical portfolio around until I got hired by Mongoose Publishing. It was my first
That's right.
in
I
the
forgot that you had
industry.
work travel.
Yeah,
Okay.
for a long time. I did for probably 4 years. I did a ton of their third-party D&D stuff and a bunch of their different lines that they did, monster books and other things like that. So, and some of their other game series too. So I got in with them, and from there, I just moved on with other companies and conventions, and other companies and businesses saw my work at these shows, saw my work published out there in the world,
Gotcha.
and then just built a career from there.
Off you go. And this has been your career,
Yes,
which is if people tell you can't make a living off of the arts.
yes, you can.
There
Yes,
you
you
go.
can.
You got to put the work. You got to put the footwork in.
Yeah, it's a lot of hard work. I will not kid you. It's a lot of networking. It's a lot of work and practice. Getting published, you have to get to know people in the industry. You have to have your work out there for people to see it. And since I started back in the late 90s, back then it was all physical legwork. I had to show my stuff at shows. I had to walk a portfolio around. Now you can have a website.
Yeah,
now you
it's
can have
true.
Twitter. You can have
But I still
all
think
these
something
other,
with the physical walking around.
yes.
How big was Gen Con when you were doing that?
about half the size that it is now.
What's it now? 90,000?
Yeah, 80, around
Okay.
80,000. So
So it's like PAX Unplugged size,
yes,
basically.
yes,
Okay.
yes, exactly. So
I mean,
yeah,
now
it
we have a
was
land
significantly
speeder
small.
going.
I
going
love
down the
it.
creek.
I love it. I think it's
We
fantastic.
had an owl bear, and now we
I-
have a land speeder.
That owl bear was absolutely incredible.
The owl bear was, it's
That
a
was
10-foot tall
really
owl
cool.
bear. It was wild.
Really cool.
I have
Love
a
it.
picture.
Yes.
All right, so 40,000 people, you're walking around with artwork. What is that like emotionally? Because I live with imposter syndrome, and you're putting something out that your heart and soul goes into.
Right.
What is that like showing this to people?
Well, for me personally, since you're asking about my experience
Absolutely,
with it,
yeah.
I was never scared to show my work, even as a kid.
You're that guy.
I'm that guy. I
I'm
never,
jealous of you.
I never worried about it. I said to myself, look, it's like anything else, if you put out enough out there and you go and you talk to enough companies, eventually one's going to say yes. Even if 1,000 of them turn you down,
You just need one
of
yes.
them, you just need one yes, get you in, get you some experience, get your foot in the door, and then you keep going from there. I was never afraid to show my portfolio. I was always one of those kids in class that when they asked a question, if I raised my hand, it's because I absolutely knew the answer.
Okay.
I would not raise it if I didn't know.
Okay.
So my art has always been the same way. If I wasn't ready for it to be at publishable level, I wouldn't have shown it.
Okay, that's just the way that you did.
That's
Did you
just the
go to
way.
college for it?
Yes, I did.
So you
I do
went
have a degree in art.
in fine arts,
Mhm.
or
Yep.
awesome.
I sure do.
So you went through. You started with Mongoose.
Uh-huh.
Kind of where was your next jump from Mongoose?
Mongoose was a series of other smaller publishers like Mongoose at that time. Then in the mid 2000s, I jumped to Wizards of the Coast.
Okay.
I did quite a bit of work on their 3.5 edition books
Gotcha.
at that time period. And then from there, things like Legend of the Five Rings
Mhm.
and Doomtown, and then Shadowrun after that, and BattleTech and Leviathans, and my own Dragon Versus line of stuff, which is the cute puppies and dragons and things like this, where it's dragons and
There's a puppy
tanks
playing ball with a dragon.
yes.
It's awesome.
Well, thank you.
It's very good. All right. So you're doing all this. Are you still working on commissions now, or you
Yes.
do mostly your own stuff? So
I do
what are-
both. I do as many commissions as I can fit
Okay.
in my schedule, and still try to allow myself enough time for my own as well.
So what is it like? Because this is art. It is your career, but it is a creative endeavor where you're throwing so much of yourself into.
Yes.
And I guess it was Professor Dungeon Master a couple months ago or a year ago. It said, like when you love your job, you're never working. He's like, no.
right.
When you love your job, you're always working.
Yes.
So
Yes.
what's that like for you, kind of moving through in this and trying to put yourself into art and
Yeah.
making transitions? And
It's kind of like Larry Elmore and I discussed this one time, and he
that was
said
a perfect name drop, by the
Yeah.
way.
he said, you're always juggling. You're playing a juggling act.
Okay.
Because you've got to do a sketch for this company, then you're finishing a piece for this company,
Mhm.
and then you got to go over here and do some research for another project that you're doing, and then you got to finish up this one over here that's due at this. So you really are. You're constantly juggling one thing to another.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's when you go into this kind of career, you kind of have an understanding of what is expected of you and what you're going to do and what you're going to have to do.
Mhm, mhm.
And you just have to push yourself. And just like anybody else, there's days I don't feel well. There's days I put pencil to paper and I'm like, can I even draw? This is just not even happening today. I feel
Yeah.
like I have no skill in this whatsoever. And sometimes you just need an hour or two to take off. Sometimes you need a day or two to come back to it and go, okay, now I'm ready. There it is. Now
It
it's
is a
coming.
much different process because it is an artistic process. It's not like
Yes.
I don't have to clock in and clock out.
Right. Yeah. So in a way, your brain is always working 24/7, because even if I'm doing something else or doing chores, I still think about this next painting I'm working on, or this next
Mhm.
sketch I got to do, or man, what's the concept that this company is wanting? This is kind of a rough one. It's a ship with this or that. Or, okay, I got to really think about that. So your brain is always on. You don't really ever shut down.
Yeah.
It's just what it really is, it's time management. It really is time management and juggling. So you're constantly feeling out your deadlines versus what can I get done by the end of this week? What needs to be painted by the end of this month? All of that kind of thing.
Was that a learned skill, or are you kind of inborn with that? I should say inbred is different.
Yes.
Very different.
A little bit of both. I would say leaning more towards a learned
Yeah.
skill. I mean, I had pretty good time management skills growing up as a kid and through high school and things like that. But I realized early on that is what was going to be needed.
And was this
for
something
this.
you always wanted to pursue?
Yes,
Good.
absolutely. All my life as a kid, seeing album cover artwork and comic books and gaming art a little bit later on when I got in junior high, and anything that was fantasy, sci-fi, horror, art related, I just ate it up. And I knew by the time I was in 6th grade, I saw some early Dragon magazine cover art. Once again, a Larry Elmore piece in specific. Anyway, good word.
Specifically?
Yeah, specifically. There we go. That's the word I'm looking for.
We know words.
Yes, we know good words. So I saw one of his paintings and said, oh, this is absolutely what I want to do. This is what I want to do. Even if I can't make a living doing this, it is at least going to be my secondary job.
There's a tiger wizard. He's a dangerous guy.
Yes.
Andrew Bellamy's a dangerous guy, man. You got to watch him. He gave us a thumbs up. And I think it's kind of cool that Larry Elmore is kind of your inspiration because you've gone with that more photorealistic style.
Yeah. He was a huge inspiration, and
we just did a complete ADHD switch.
No, because he was a huge inspiration for me personally and artistically, and now he is not only a peer, but he's a personal friend of mine, and I've gotten to know him and his wife both and daughter and son-in-law for years now, and they always say you don't want to meet your heroes. Sometimes you do.
Every now and again, it's a nice thing.
Every now and then, it works out really well.
Very, very good. Now,
So-
we are far beyond the era of having in-house artists,
Yes.
like old TSR.
Yes.
You have been a freelancer your whole life.
25 years now.
Have you ever kind of wished that you would have been alive in that era where you
Yes.
could have just worked on one
Yes.
thing? What about it would have been fun? Like working with a pool of people, the steady income, like what?
Actually,
what about
all of the above.
Okay.
I really working with a talented group of people working in a same area, a steady paycheck, knowing that you had health insurance coming through that, all of those things.
Those are good.
You kind of don't have that doing what I do. But on the other side of things, I have a lot of freedom in life, not just creative freedom on projects, but freedom in life to travel, do these kind of shows, do things like that. The other things you have to figure out. You have to figure out how to make that work with like insurance or this or that or the other, but
Gotcha.
but it's like anything else. There's ups and downs to both. There's positive and negative to both sides of that coin, and you just have to learn now that there's very few staff art jobs in this day and age.
Yeah, it just doesn't exist
It
anymore.
just doesn't hardly exist. So you learn to adapt.
I do wonder if we're going back there just because of the proliferation of AI and people
It's
putting the
possible.
slap out.
Right. It's
So
I cannot foretell the future, but you just never know about these things. It is possible.
it is possible.
Mhm.
So obviously, Gen Con, a big part of your story.
Mhm.
For just kind of you personally and as an artist, like what role have these conventions played for your movie, like as you've moved through your career?
Oh, they've made a huge difference in my life, livelihood, and career in all aspects, because some of the best friends in my life I've made through conventions. I mean, it's just astounding. The amount of love from fans and people that buy my work at these shows, astounding. It's uplifting. It recharges my battery after every show, my personal battery, my creative and personal battery. It recharges it after every show.
Gotcha.
So it's incredible. And of course, this kind of thing is where I get my jobs, where people see my work and hire me for the next job or for the next cover or the next whatever. So it's a massive impact on what I do. Is our shows like these that I travel around the country and do, and I just love it. Plus, it gives you a little bit of I don't want to say a vacation because we don't really get to do anything outside of the con much,
Right.
but just to go somewhere and meet new people and see different people. Like here at Page, I've never been to Philadelphia before ever in my life, ever.
You've never been to Philly?
I've never been to Philly. So this is all new for me, and a lot of these people that are here are new. New fans, new people. I've never met them. I've never seen them at shows
Gotcha.
elsewhere. So this is exciting for me. This is really cool.
Awesome.
Yeah, I love it.
Very cool. I am very glad that I got to talk with you. So
Well,
we met
thank
at
you.
Gamehole Con, which was probably my first and only time that I will get there,
Right.
which was really, it was
That's unfortunate. That's a good con.
It's a fantastic. But Paige, this is very much same type of
Right.
feel,
Right. Oh,
which
absolutely.
is so
Absolutely.
cool.
Yes.
And I think Derek might have gotten waylaid. So I'm going to let you go,
Okay.
and I'll
Thank
talk to
you.
this dingbat over here. He's
Well-
looking around, wondering who I'm talking about.
Well, thank
is
you very
good.
much for interviewing me and talking to me and getting to hang out for a bit again.
I'll talk with you again because I
All
do
right.
love your artwork. I think it's fantastic.
Well, thank you
and it's
so
good
much.
Stuff. So
I
and
appreciate
people
it.
can find you where?
They can find me at BrentChumley.com, and they can also find me at Facebook, The Art of Brent Chumley.
Got it. All right. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Have a wonderful day.
You too. Thanks.
Absolutely. All right, you sit down. Hey, Ed, how are you? You look like you're looking for someone.
I'm old, but no, I'm actually reasonably good. I'm just starting to think about when
Did any of y'all get Jeff D's signature on your
Ah.
unexpurgated deities and demigods? No, I didn't think so.
What did he say? I don't know. Anyways, okay, we have 3 people watching.
Woo! Hello, 3 people
Hello,
out
3
there. I
people.
am the Dungeon Delver.
So-
I delve dungeons on YouTube and on social media. So this is like my first hour here at this con. Now you were talking to, I'm sorry, who was that just before?
That was Brent Chumley, the
Brent
artist right
Chumley.
over there. Yes.
Artist Brett Chumley.
Look,
and
he's got puppies playing stick with dragons.
now that is just about as cute as you can get,
I
folks.
think
I,
it's-
wish
I-
we could pan the camera over there
I'm
to
also
show you.
happy with puppies instead of cats. No, he does have cats too.
But,
darn. Oh,
hey, can we grab the tripod and show that awesome owl bear
We
off? I
can't.
bet
I'm
people.
not. I don't want to screw with it.
Oh, nuts.
I could.
Folks, you'll just have to take our word for it. There's an awesome owl bear.
I-
Unless
I-
the
I'm-
owl
you
bear
know what?
wants to come to the booth,
I know
And
the
do a
owlbear
quick
can't fit.
spot.
The owlbear can't fit in that booth.
that is
Hey,
the
won't
words of
go.
someone with no
Here,
imagination.
you know what? Watch this. Flip, flip, flip. There we go. Look, there's the owlbear.
Folks, it's better than the Patterson footage, and you saw it right here.
Wave and say hello, owlbear. You're on YouTube.
Have you seen our owl bear? Woohoo! Absolutely.
I told people that
we
owlbear
have
was
seen
huge.
the owl bear.
All right, we'll get zoomed in again. All right, there we go.
Anyway, so
There we go.
so there's the owl bear. Now, I have been here like a grand total of an hour, and hey, there's Ron.
There's Ron.
There's the man, the plan, the ram, the jam, yam.
We got 5 people watching right now.
That's right. It's that Delver
Yeah.
effect.
Ron looks like he needs a nap.
Well, Ron, we have this lovely table. You can just get some T-shirts, get some Page T-shirts,
He does like to
Put-
sleep under tables.
put some bedding down,
So-
and we.
I did not say. You know what we just found out? I was doing my interview with Chet. We are born the exact same day.
They both broke out of the cloning lab at the same time.
Yeah, basically.
The disaster of '73.
At his convention, at Wes's convention, Ecclesiacon, fun convention in
Palmyra.
Palmyra, New Jersey, in early May. I did take a nap under my table.
We
And there
couldn't
were
find him.
And there were people going, "Where's Ron? I can't see Ron." And I'm under the table going, "Arr."
Taking a
Sure.
nap because you were traveling that week.
Well,
The fun times.
all right, take it easy.
Thanks, Ron.
Ron, big Ron, guy who organized this. Is now when you were talking to him, you know, I was not there. I was not a con-going guy, but this reminds me, looking around at the way this is spread out and the fun people are having. This reminds me of pictures I would see of like your Gen Con 8 and 9. You know, it's like
more laid back.
it's
Not
more
too-
laid. It's big, and there's plenty of stuff to do. You're not going to come to this con and be like, okay, I walk from the front of the hall to the back. I'm done. I played D&D. We're done. Why did I just do that? Guys, there's a vendor hall
This
over
is
there.
a very interesting con. It's so laid back.
You,
Hi, Bunny.
Hey, guys. Hey, how are you?
We're just saying.
Sphere of Annihilation.
Are you trying to murder her? What's going on?
No. I know Bunny and Zane from internet places, and I always super chat them $5 to kill their party with a Sphere of Annihilation. They never do, folks.
So he's not trying to murder.
It's
Bunny. He's
it's
trying to murder
money.
the players.
It's money
okay.
badly spent, but I love Zane and Bunny. They're wonderful folks. But
I interviewed Bunny on the channel.
oh, that's great.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
really, and
Lucky
Zane.
you.
And Zane was there.
Lucky you.
Yes,
But no. So
we're hanging out.
we're hanging out, and yeah, this reminds me of that same kind of vibe where you come in. I mean, because like I just talked to Jeff D. Jeff's going to be over here.
I like the hat.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
I love the hat. It's
Jeff
very
D.
good.
Jeff D. is going to be in the booth with us here any minute now.
Yes, he'll come by.
So Jeff's going to be here. Heidi Gygax and Eric Garland are over. They've got a booth. Alan Hammock is roaming around here somewhere. Harold Johnson is holding court on how to put together a great adventure. I mean, my God, could you ask for a cooler concentration of old school than at a place like this, at a time like this?
Right, and then you get
here
like
in
Chelsea
Philly?
Dion running around just hanging out.
Yeah, it's great. Stefan Pokorny is here. He's rocking the.
He was on the channel.
yeah.
He did an interview.
Yeah. See, everybody. I got you. Now, granted, I got Jeff D. Hopefully,
I
Merle
look like a
Rasmussen
ding.
will
Going,
be able to make it, not tonight, but later on in my interviews. But everybody, But everybody is throwing up the horns for DM Zane when he was walking by there.
Mhm.
But there are so many cool people just roaming around, and it
Mhm.
is super cool. And I have been here an hour. I went from what am I doing here? Because I am, folks, zero sleep. If
Yeah,
you
he
ex-
said no sleep at all.
if you expressed my sleep as a fraction, it would be 0/24 in a 24-hour period. But
I don't know. Should I let you interview Jeff T with no sleep? You gonna be okay?
I
I
think
get to see. You have to show off your shirt. Show off the shirt.
the White Tree of Valinor. My wife got me this lovely cardigan with the White Tree of Valinor on it. And if you would please hold the mic,
I will
my
hold the
friend.
mic.
Get on the mic and MC.
Whoa! This is a. Oh, look at that. Now now hold that up again. Make sure you only get the upper shirt. Now this is where people of a certain age will look at them. That's the wrong logo for that cover.
And I said, I was like, why
And
would
it
Wizards,
is.
why would Wizards of the Coast not license okay, the font is wrong. This is supposed to be
It's not 80. That's the basic font.
that is the basic font,
Yeah.
that is the basic color, that is the basic layout. But we take what we can get because Wizards, they sold like this $300 Dice Tower demon idol
Yes.
piece that was like,
Did they
hey,
give you the
there's
shirt?
Eric Garland, everybody, Eric Garland.
Eric Okra.
But Eric,
That's where he's going.
they sold this Dice Tower and they turned the horns of the demon idol, which you guys can see here. They turned the horns of the demon idol into ears. Like, guys, Pat Pulling is not going to rise from the grave and say, how dare you put a demon on a cover. They turned it into ears. Did you see what they did with the Ifrit? The
No, I
Ifrit,
just ignore
the
stuff anymore.
Ifrit statue, this like 2-foot tall abomination. It's the Ifrit. It's correct, but he's not holding the female thief or illusionist or assassin or whatever you want to say she was, as she is in the To the City of Brass painting, which, by the way, Paul Stormberg owns that painting. Did you know that?
I did not.
Paul Stormberg owns the City of Brass painting that you guys see on the Dungeon Master's Guide. That's right.
I will tell you that the homage cover for Castles and Crusades, you don't have to. I am Mike. You're good.
I keep forgetting
You're good.
that.
That is fantastic. Did you see the homage covers for Castles and Crusades that did the first edition AD&D?
I have seen some of them.
Go
I have
over,
not
'cause
seen
they have the
all
three-
of them.
the three
I will-
core books all
Well,
the way
I'm
through.
waiting on Jeff D. I'm not going to wander off without Jeff.
You
but,
carrying off somebody's game?
It's a gnome. He's got a gnome corpse in there.
Well, I'll buy one, but you gave me a book. That's not fair.
But,
I did not.
But yeah, so they did the Ifrit statue. It's not holding her in his hand. It's holding the knight. It's like, where's the girl? It's like you just sucked all the fun out of that classic David Sutherland piece, you know?
Yeah, it's like I don't whatever. I don't pay attention anymore.
I try not to. The only thing I tell people is if you want to play AD&D and you don't want to buy books that smell like cigarette smoke and mold and pay $75, $80, $100 each
Just get
for
the
them,
drive-through print on demand.
get the drive-through RPG print on demands of AD&D. It's what I tell people. People are like, man, I wish you could still get AD&D stuff. You can.
Well, I don't understand when people complain about that.
I'm
Because you
sorry?
can't buy it anymore. I'm like, it's right there. Just go
Yeah,
buy it.
yeah, you can. But
And,
also,
and arguably, it's better quality than the original printing.
I'll tell you this: I have an Unearthed Arcana.
That doesn't fall apart.
I have a. It's not the print on demand; it's the reissue. But
Okay.
I'm not afraid to hold that thing by the spine and shake it like that.
Because the originals,
Yeah.
everything fell out.
So here's a bit of trivia, and I've actually done a YouTube short on this. So for those of you who watch my YouTube
The
shorts,
owl bear is walking by again.
yes, the owl bear.
That's insane.
So for those of you who watch my YouTube shorts, here's a live Dungeon Delver YouTube short. Did you know that Unearthed Arcana, when it was released in 1986, was falling apart in people's hands at Gen Con?
Because they had no money. It was cheap glue.
Well, the Blooms didn't want to spend the money.
They had no money. I mean, yeah,
Gary wanted the stitched binding that they wanted to do on the original AD&D books, and the Blooms
Yeah.
were like, "Oh, we can't afford to do that,"
we're doing glue.
and they did glue, and the hell of it was, it cost them more money because people brought the books back.
Right, because they're resending out. Yep,
Yeah. So
always do that.
So
All right.
the drive-through books are solid. If you want to play AD&D, get the drive-through books.
All right, so here's a cool thing.
Here's the
And
cool thing.
This is an aside. I was always a BX guy, and AD&D was like, nah, it's okay. I'm more basic. So look at him looking at me. So for me, old school essentials with the advanced fantasy is like the perfect.
Folks, we're going to fade to black for a second
he's just
because there
gonna
may
come back
be
as a
something.
black guy.
Yeah.
So so my day job, I don't know if you know this about me. My day job is literally I'm a Baptist pastor.
Amen.
So it's just
That's great.
Which
That's
is this very
wonderful,
strange universe we live in. So I'm doing Christmas Eve.
Let me
Yeah, go ahead.
pump the brakes for just a second.
Yeah.
Do you watch the Dungeon Ministers channel?
Oh yeah, I love Aaron. I follow Aaron.
Father Aaron is fantastic. He's a great guy. But please continue.
I keep hoping he comes down, but I don't want him to have to cross the border right now.
Right.
Because he might get. We won't talk
He's
about that.
Kanakistanian.
We will not
folks.
talk about that.
Yes.
So anyway, so I'm at my Christmas Eve service. A couple comes in, older couple
Okay.
comes in talking, and they're talking. I talk with them afterwards. They mentioned I had been on sabbatical, which is why I could go to GameholeCon this year.
Okay.
And so they mentioned it during the service, and they came up to me afterwards like, "So you were on sabbatical?" I was like, "Yeah." Well, so what did you do? I said, "Well, I did a lot of reading. Went over here." I said, I'm a nerd, so I went out to a game convention in Madison, Wisconsin. And the wife looks at, just kind of looks and grins and points at him. And she goes, "Oh, he knows about that." And the guy looks at me and says, "I used to play games with Gary Gygax in
That's great. That's
up
great.
there before D&D was invented." I was like, "Wait, you were in the Castles and Crusade Society?" He's like, "I think I have a shield up there, yeah, in Lake Geneva."
Wow.
Like, okay, so no, it gets
that
better.
is amazing.
So he's like, "Oh yeah, I was at the first Gen Con."
Okay.
He sends me pictures of the first Gen Con of the opening address. He's like, "Yeah, I was here." We tried to get him to come here. I think he's coming to EcclesiaCon this year.
Oh, that is
I was
fantastic.
like, "You were at the first Gen Con?" He's like, "Yeah."
At the first Gen Con. That is
And he has a
phenomenal.
picture of him just snapshot the thing. So that happened to me this year. That was weird.
That is great. So unfortunately, I'm not part of this story, but I have
Okay.
a similar cool story for you. You know Tracy Lesh, of course, right?
No.
Tracy Lesh was now I know Tracy personally. He's been on my show a few times.
Okay.
He used to live just up the highway from me in Florida, but he
Okay.
has since moved to Southern Georgia. But Tracy was a native of Lake Geneva, and when he was 17, through Elsie Gygax, he wound up doing illustrations for TSR for OD&D.
Okay.
And Tracy did the first ever illustration of the Mind Flayer.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So the Mind Flayer and Roper, that's Tracy's work. So
Okay.
Tracy ran into a guy at the grocery store who had a Mind Flayer T-shirt on.
We're switching. Get out. You tell your story. Put this on.
I'll tell my story. We're gonna
No, you're fine.
No,
We're recording.
We're live.
We're live.
RUD.
We are.
I need a moment to go pee pee. And I'll be right back.
Oh, you just got our stream canceled. It just shut down. It just shut down.
I'll be right back.
Jeff D killed the stream.
That was Jeff D. who
So-
yelled that into the microphone.
somebody go get Ron. Tell him the stream got shut down. All right, Jeff, go do your biological.
Finish your story.
Anyway, I don't know that I can now. So Tracy's wearing a Mind Flayer T-shirt. He and his wife are walking into the market, and a guy walking out points at Tracy's shirt and said, "One of those damn things killed my favorite character when I was a kid." And Shelby, Tracy's wife, looks at the guy and says, "He did the first ever illustration for the Mind Flayer." And this guy just geeks out that he's meeting the guy who, and now I want to be very careful when I say created the Mind Flayer, created the look of the Mind Flayer.
yes.
So for a younger set who might be watching this stream or you're watching the video post ex facto, You're out there playing Baldur's Gate 3. The bad guys are all mind flayers in Baldur's Gate 3. All of that look, the calamari faced guys.
Yep.
All that goes back to Tracy's interpretation of what Gary wanted, and he hit it out of the park. Gary was over the moon. So David Sutherland's Illo of the Mind Flayer. You've got Errol Otis in the Rogues Gallery has it great. The Mind Flayer as he's being eaten alive, literally. And then I think there's a David S. LaForce of a Mind Flayer kind of scratching his head in confusion in D3, I believe it is. All of that stems from Tracy's pen.
Nice.
And it was so cool. He told me that story about this guy like bumping into the author of his sorrows. So
I'm gonna put it. So Jeff D is about to come on.
that's right.
I'm gonna put tell people what's
And
coming
Jeff's
up.
going to be streaming with us for 4 hours, guys. So get your questions.
It's not though.
So Jeff D's going to be on until about 4:30, and then Matt Forbuck is going to come on. So I'm getting out of the way, and you may sit down.
Yes, please, Jeff.
Why don't you move over?
Half hour?
Half hour.
Half an hour.
Cool. Happy to do it. Hi everyone.
So here he
I'm
comes,
now carrying the
everybody.
microphone.
And I'll make sure.
It's
And-
welcome everyone to the Jeff D Show.
He has seized control of the program. He controls the vertical. He controls horizontal. So I have a lavalier mic. So you hang on to the stick there.
Oh
You
boy.
have the stick of talking.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Jeff D.
Let's
Now,
do it.
For those of you out there, I have a visual prop. For those of you out there who maybe don't know Jeff by name, you certainly know Jeff by works, and I have to be very careful about which one of these I show.
Because there's nipples.
Exactly.
There are occasionally nipples.
There are occasionally nipples. There are no nipples here, I don't think. But
underneath the.
you, sir, we were just talking about arts. We were talking about Tracy Lesh and OD&D artwork a little bit before you came on.
Yeah.
But you, sir, are one of the formative artists. You are the father, if you will, of Morgan Ironwolf. Tell,
Ah,
for the sake of the audience and myself, because I want to hear the story too.
yeah.
You're out there. You're doing art. How does it come to pass that you wash up on the shores of TSR and stake your claim?
Sheer dumb luck. I grew up in a little town, Cary, Illinois,
Okay.
a half-hour drive south of Lake Geneva.
Okay.
And my eldest brother, David, was the first in my family to discover D&D, and he was in his high school gaming group and stuff. And he would drive up to the Dungeon Hobby Shop like every other month or so to see what was new, and I went with him.
Okay.
So when I did that, I would show my drawings to the guys in the store. And in those days, the TSR offices were the upper floor of that building. So they saw my work, and that led to my first professional published work, which was in Dragon Magazine #6. And so I had that connection. Then I went off to art school, the Joe Kubert School of Cartoon and Graphic Arts in New Jersey, and wound up getting hired full time from that. I forget exactly how that went. I think, if I recall correctly, I made on a spring break. Made another trip up from my parents' house to Lake Geneva and showed them, here's what I can do now. And they said, you're hired. So like that.
You being proximate to, I mean, were you sending your stuff? Were you mailing it in, or were you driving it
No,
up there?
physically meeting with them. Yeah.
Okay. So you're there. You're showing the artwork off. Did they kind of ease you in, or did they just throw you into the deep end? Like, okay, boom, here's the project. Go do.
Well, I mean, Dave Sutherland was the head of the art department,
Right.
and he would hand out the assignments. It was relatively laid back. I mean, we did wrangle a very little bit over stuff like who got to do the Lovecraft section of Deities and Demigods, right?
Right.
And I really wanted it to be me, but I think they made the right choice with Errol Otis. It was absolutely up
His organicness, man.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to argue. It was very friendly and camaraderie and stuff. And, at first it wasn't very corporate or anything, so it was just nice.
So now we were talking just before you came over on the show. You did a beautiful frontispiece for Space Marine. Now, for the younger set out there, when I say Space Marine, I'm not talking about Games Workshop. They don't own Space Marine. Fantasy Games Unlimited, FGU, made a miniatures war game called Space Marine, and you did a gorgeous illustration on that. And I think that was 79 or 80 when that hit. Possibly 81.
I don't remember exactly the sequence of events there, but when I was at the Joe Kubert School in Dover, New Jersey, that's when I guess the previous Gen Con, Jack Herman and I had interested Fantasy Games Unlimited in Villains and Vigilantes, and they were out on Long Island in Stony Brook.
Right.
So I was not that far from them while I was in art school. And I think that piece I did for them while I was at the Kubert School.
Okay.
If not, then it was right before or right after.
All right. So
that's how that works. So there's like some FGU work and some TSR work sort of intermixed.
So sort of interleaved, not really like I worked here first, then I went there. So you're doing
freelance stuff for both before the full-time job at TSR and then the full-time job at FGU.
Okay. So there's I don't want to jump too far ahead on this specific piece, that specific piece, but Jeff, I have got to talk to you about this because it is one of my favorite pieces of yours, and I wish I brought my copy of A1 with me for your autograph. There is a look that you give, and you folks out there, Google this up while you're watching, whether you're live or it's a recording later. The piece on the front of A1, Slave Pits of the Undercity, Jeff, that is almost animation cell-like.
Is that
the way you made the colors pop? It's the Aspis fighting the party in the sewers.
Right.
Now, understanding that, that I could draw a stick figure and get the proportions wrong. Gosh, I feel so silly asking you this, and I apologize for such a dumb question. How did you make that gorgeous piece come together like that? It looks like somewhere there is an animated series of Secret of the Slaver Stockade, and that's a production cell from it. It's that beautiful.
I'm glad you like it so much.
I do.
I don't consider myself a very good painter because you compare it to animation cells. I mean, that's kind of what I do when I paint is I'm mostly an illustrator, so I draw the scene and then I fill it in, and then I go, well, people will expect me to do some shading, so I'll do some shading on things. There's pieces I like better and pieces I like less well, but there's not a special story with almost any of them.
Well, I mean, and that's okay. I just,
in fact, if you look at some of the things, like there's the one, I forget which book it's on, but there's the Manticore flinging its tail spikes at a group of characters coming at it.
Yes, and I think that's White Plume Mountain.
That may well be.
Yeah.
That is literally like a black and white inked illustration that I colored with watercolors instead of acrylic paints. I'm a little bit more comfortable with that.
Okay. And well, that kind of jumps into my next question. Very nicely on-ramped. Good job. That's why we rehearse, folks. But no, you so you work pen and ink, watercolor. Back then, was it just whatever can make color on paper, or did you go for a specific material. Like, I want to do this in watercolor. I want to do this in acrylic. I want to do this.
Honestly can't remember how that was decided for each individual piece.
Okay.
You know, these feelings I've just expressed about, I think I'm best at illustration, okay with coloring illustrations with watercolor, and not great at painting. Means I've got a preference.
Right.
Maybe Dave Sutherland would tell me, well, we need it this way or that way. I honestly don't remember. It's been, what, are we on 50 years now? It's been a long time.
It's been a minute or two.
Yeah.
It has been a minute or two.
So whatever it was, though, it was all very friendly and relaxed and stuff.
Sure.
For most of it.
For most of it, you talked about wanting to do the Call of Cthulhu stuff. Was there something that rolled out, like you got that chance to do this? And it can be an TSR, later FGU work, anything you've done that you've just been over the moon, like, oh, I'm so glad I get to do this.
Oh, it was the Elric stuff. I mean, that was absolutely my second choice after Cthulhu. Because I'm a nice old-fashioned geek reading science fiction and fantasy,
Right.
So the big cool titles appeal to me.
Well, I have to gush. I have to geek out a little bit. I came to know the look of Elric before reading the Moorcock books. So when I sat down, when I got those Doubleday Book Club Elric sagas, volumes 1 and 2. My mind's eye was your Elric art. That was how I pictured that. It's so good.
To be fair, I think Michael Whalen did it on paperback covers before me, I was influenced by him. And just trying to be careful not to just copy him.
Sure. It was the fine line between copying and homage.
And before that, there was like Moorcock describing the guy. So,
exactly.
We're all in the same ballpark.
And you go back to like the 60-cent Ace paperbacks when it's just like some random abstract art. So I think that's a sword. Is that supposed to be a guy? Kind of stuff. But you're right, Michael Whalen. When I started picking the books up, I think that was Del Rey. It was Del Rey that was doing it. Beautiful stuff. But again, your work is so sumptuous. But so you've also done a lot of superhero stuff, and it seemed.
Well, I did go to the Joe Kubert School, which is like a comic book trade school.
Got it. They call you up, Jeff. Look, you're going to have to do some superhero stuff, man. Get on the stick. So, villains and vigilantes.
Yeah.
Now, am I correct? Here? Did you you've done some rule stuff with it? Yes.
Yeah, I co-wrote Villains and Vigilantes.
Okay, all right. Tell us a little bit about the process.
So in high school, I met Jack Herman, who is now comic book writer in his own right. He did Eagle and a bunch of other things. Look him up. He and I met working in the school library. We were like the kids that put the books back on the shelves. But mostly what we would do is use that as an excuse to disappear back into the shelves and, geek out about like the latest episode of Monty Python or something that we were watching. And there was a collection, hardbound collection of Lovecraft stories at my high school library. Who knows how that got in there?
Nice.
Called Dagon. Which is where we both encountered the Cthulhu stuff.
That sounds like it might have been Arkham House, Dagon, and other stories.
May have been. That's where he knew Tracy Lesh. They were pals. I don't think I ever met Tracy, but Jack Herman knew him.
And it all comes full circle. We were talking about Tracy Lesh just as you walked up.
You mentioned him as I sat down. Yeah. So that's cool. Jack and I were gaming together, and the story specifically on Villains and Vigilantes is we got into a little dispute over who would win in a fight, Spider-Man or the Human Torch. And I said, well, we have this gaming thing that we do. Why don't we stat them up and just duke it out?
Okay.
So we made up some rules for Spider-Man's webbing and for the Human Torch's flames, and assigned some numbers. I think at the time, the only rule set that we had was TSR's Empire of the Petal Throne, that a lot of people don't even remember. It's just what
I know
had.
EPT. That is a wild rule set to use for a
It's
super
got
game.
like D100 based stats, which is terrible. Does not work well. But we came up with some numbers and we played it. And I don't even remember who won that fight because it's not important, right? But from that, we realized, hey, there aren't any superhero role-playing games. Could we do that? Is that legal?
So you guys rocked out before Champions.
We were up before Champions, but we were beat to the gate by Superhero 2044.
You have caught me cold because I have not heard of that.
So we can, I think we can fairly lay claim to V&V being the first complete superhero role-playing game, because Superhero 2044 didn't I hate to criticize other people's games, right? At the time, it was the coolest superhero game around, so right?
By dint of being
all
the
the
first.
credit, and it did come out first, but it had like, what if you had bought Champions and it sort of implied that you had some points and you were gonna build your characters out of them, but it didn't really tell you how to do it. It was like that.
Okay.
So, more power to them. I heard that there was an effort to revive that or complete it or something. I don't know how that went, but good for them.
So here you
So
guys
what was the
come
question?
here you guys come with Villains and Vigilantes.
Yeah, and to be fair, first edition Villains and Vigilantes is not great. It's not great. That is why that was 1979. In 3 years later, we came out with a second edition. We had to talk Scott Bazar into letting us do it because, he was looking at sales figures and it was selling okay. And we said, we can so totally do this better. And we did. And the one that most people know and often think is the second edition is the 1982 revised Villains and Vigilantes. That was the one that was actually like pretty much playable.
So I've got to zing you a little bit here. You of course familiar with Steve Jackson Games, of course. Murphy's Rules. You know the Murphy's Rules strips.
Yes.
There was a bit I could swear. Now, if I've got this wrong, I want somebody out there in the audience, whether you're watching now or later, to go ahead and dress me down for this. I believe it was Villains and Vigilantes that a superhero could survive a nuclear blast, but not necessarily a stick of dynamite.
Right, because there were wildly random die rolls involved.
Right.
So yeah,
Right.
it's absolutely true.
The purpose of Murphy's Rules is just to have a good chuckle, not to seriously poke holes in rule systems. But I always thought that was kind of a funny one.
It's hard in games. I mean,
Sure.
that we would not let things be that random now. And if you look at third edition Villains and Vigilantes, which you totally should.
Plug.
Whenever possible, we try to put in at least, a multi-die roll so that there's a curve with the middle results being more likely, so that the end result of rolling the dice makes more sense more often.
Okay.
Just a basic good game design hygiene.
Well, that brings me to a good point because when we're talking about superhero games, of course, Active still produce superhero games. You got the big double handful of D6 system of hero system, the mechanics of villains and vigilantes. Is it just percentile or just D6 or just how?
Oh, all the funny dice.
All the funny dice.
Yeah.
So it's a D20 for this, a D4 for that, a D6 for the other.
Yeah. In
Okay.
earlier editions of V&V, it was more like a Power Blast did a D20.
Okay.
And in third edition, it was 2D10, right? Because we wanted the curve.
Fair enough.
So that, but we use smaller numbers of multiples of all the polyhedron dice.
So you're not having to
so
swoop
it's-
down onto your game store and clean them out of Chess X.
Which is fine for people that like that sort of thing.
Sure. Well, that's excellent. Now, you had mentioned you were like you said, can we do this? Can we publish a superhero?
And it turned out we
book?
could.
And it turns out you can.
Though we went to Fantasy Games Unlimited. We went to Gen Con, the one that was at the Playboy Mansion
Mhm.
in Lake Geneva, and we looked around at what was on offer. And we noticed that Fantasy Games Unlimited had just published Bunnies and Burrows.
Ah, yes.
And no slight to FGU, but we did go out into the hall and say, wow, any company that would publish a game about intelligent bunnies is probably open to a superhero game,
A watership
which nobody
down
else has done yet. So
a watership down TTRPG
so
was
that's
a
why
bold
we
move.
that's why we approached them. By the way, I freaking love Bunnies and Burrows, and
I have
as
not
everyone
played it.
knows,
Should I avail
I
myself of it?
illustrated the second edition.
That's
and-
right. That's right.
And Dennis Sustair, co-creator of Bunnies and Burrows, was in my gaming group down in Austin for a while.
Wow.
And the latest iteration of Bunnies and Burrows was play tested at my gaming table. So
Wow.
there's
So
a connection there.
that is a heck of a loop. I love that. That's awesome. I love that positive.
It is a
feedback
small
loop.
world sometimes.
I wouldn't want to paint it. Great, Stephen Wright. It's a small
Yeah.
world. I wouldn't want to paint it. So you guys have got a pretty solid supers game.
Uh-huh.
Now, I mean, back in the 1980s, going to an IP company and saying, we want to make a tabletop role-playing game out of this, I have no idea what this is. Sure, here, go, do. It's a little harder now. It's a lot harder now. So speaking to someone who's a complete...
It is, but it's also easier if you don't care about making any money, because
fair
just
enough.
about anybody can put out a game now. You type it up, you make it a PDF, and you sell it somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's totally doable. Jack and I know nothing about publishing, and we've been doing it for over a decade.
Hell, I don't know anything about the interviewing people on live stream. I've been doing it for 10 years
Yeah.
too.
So in some ways, it's easier. It's when money gets involved. That things start to suck.
But did you? I mean, even for a nanosecond, we should contact Marvel or we should contact DC back in the day, or was that just like?
But me and Jack, it never occurred to us.
Okay.
But no, I will tell you a little story before TS. The sequence of events is first edition V&V came out 1979. Then I worked at TSR for a while.
Okay.
And while I was there, I was working with Jack. I was back in that, the northern Illinois and southern Wisconsin area, so where Jack was, and we worked on a revised V&V, the 82 edition. But before the revised edition came out, TSR was talking about maybe getting the Marvel license, right, which they eventually did. And so there was a little bit of very preliminary talk before I left TSR of what became revised V&V being submitted to TSR as a proposal for the Marvel game system.
Well, it might have been.
Yeah. I mean, it didn't get far enough that I can claim that it made any difference, but yeah.
Now-
So, yeah.
I'm gonna tread out on some very thin speculative ice for just a
Okay.
moment. And if you don't know these details, that's fine. We move on. First of all, were you still at TSR when Star Frontiers rolled out, and did you do any work on it?
I was there before Star Frontiers was published, but I was involved in some early playtesting.
Okay, so that brings me to the next question, because you were talking about preliminary talks to that. I have heard very thin rumors with no confirmation that TSR was pursuing a Star Wars license.
I don't know.
You don't know. Okay.
I cannot comment
All right.
on that.
Well,
Don't know.
then that there we go. Okay.
Yay.
Cool. You can neither confirm nor deny.
Yeah, I can't. I really
Okay.
don't.
No, that's cool. That's cool.
But one more
Um,
thing on the Marvel front. though.
Yes.
So
Marvel front.
So TSR had the Marvel license for
Mhm.
a while, and then of course I left there, and I wound up at Fantasy Games Unlimited.
Mhm.
And it might have been at the same time that TSR was negotiating, or it may have been, it must have been, because it wasn't after they lost. No, that was years later. So while that was still a possibility, FGU was also talking to Marvel about maybe landing it over there. So there was a second chance of revised V&V becoming the Marvel game. And I'm glad it didn't become the Marvel game in either of those places, because what Marvel wanted is a role-playing game where you would play their characters, period.
Right.
And to
Right.
me, that's not what role-playing games are about, is playing all other people's characters. They're
Yeah.
about making your own character.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, I the more I dig into like 86 and beyond TSR history until Wizards of the Coast came along, the weirder it gets with some of their conceptions about things. And we don't want to go too negative. Focus on the positive. But yeah, Rocky and Bullwinkle RPG. Anyone?
Hey, Toon, which was my idea,
Toon was your.
which I don't claim any ownership of, because it was just, there was a conversation at a party after a Gen Con, right?
Okay.
Somebody was bemoaning that all of the genres had been done, and I pointed out that Saturday morning cartoons had not been done.
Mhm.
And Greg Kostikian grabbed that idea, ran with it, wrote the game, right? And then name dropped me on the title page, which I thought was very nice of him.
That's awesome.
Right?
That's awesome.
Again, more power to him. There's a new edition of that coming. I've no idea if I'll be name dropped. I hope so.
I hope so.
but,
You better
probably
be.
not. Who knows?
You better be. I got to say, I love Greg's games.
Uh-huh.
He is a guy who's absolutely unafraid to wield his pen as sword and just tilt at windmills with his games. So I think that's wonderful that he's like, this is Jeff D's fault. But that is fantastic. But no art in Toon.
No, I didn't. No. Sadly, no.
He stuck your name on it, but wouldn't even let you do.
Well, I wasn't even approached, but that's fine.
I can see no animosity about that.
There was an article in Dragon Magazine that statted up Bugs Bunny
And Daffy Duck.
Yeah,
it was an April Fool's article.
I did illustrations on that, and I have no idea why they didn't get sued for that. But
I don't know. Maybe people were just tired of the litigation go round that TSR kept putting them through, and they kept putting TSR through. What's the old joke? TSR stood for they sue regularly, or they're sued regularly.
oh, I don't know.
But so it sounds like just the whole time, just TSR itself. I mean, before we even go into your Villains of Vigilante, was an absolutely fantastic time. So
Yeah, it was a blast.
moving forward. I mean, it's not stop start, but it is an evolutionary thing. So what is Jeff D working on today?
Oh, you just skipped decades. Hang on.
Okay,
You
all
didn't
right.
touch on. So I
Well, bring us back, Jeff. Bring us back.
there was a point at which I left the paper games industry because
Okay.
I got work at Origin, computer game
Right.
company down in
Yeah.
Austin, which is why I'm in that area now.
Mhm.
Dennis Loubet, who's done a lot of illustrations for Steve Jackson games. Not Dennis Bouvet, who's a different guy, also awesome painter. Dennis Loubet was doing work with had been hired by Origin, and he dropped my name to them, and I wound up working there for a few years.
If I can interject real quick. so many TSR vets wound up working in the great Texas video game folks
Yeah.
down there. So many
Yeah.
went to id, to Origin, and so on. But please continue, please.
So I wound up there for a few years, and just before that, I did a little game called Twerps. Do you know Twerps?
Yes, I know Twerps.
It was the thing I could do at the time, right? Little like 8.5 by 14 sheet, typed in with a typewriter for the typesetting, with illustrations pasted in, taken down to the local Kinko's, copied off, cut in half, stacked, folded, and stapled. And that was me and my partner Amanda and our little tiny company, Reindeer Games, because we figured we get free advertising every Christmas.
Every Christmas.
So we did that for a while. I got the job at Origin, and an opportunity came up to sell Reindeer Games in its entirety to Lou Zocchi. Remember Lou Zocchi,
Yes.
Game Science?
Yes.
And he picked up the Twerps line in it completely.
Mhm.
And I washed my hands of paper games, going, that's just been rough, and not working for anybody right now. And there's good money in computer games. Stayed in the computer games industry for a few years until that an economic downturn hit, and I wound up out in the street again. I go, well, what can I do to make money? I guess I'll go back into paper games. So Amanda and I started Unigames, which is UNI, she and me, right? You and I games. And we did a fantasy game called Quicksilver using our 2D10 system that we call Pocket Universe.
Okay.
And then we that went pretty well, and we did some other stuff. We wound up getting the Tecumel license.
Really?
Right? The Empire of the Petal Throne was the TSR's second
Yes.
role-playing game, and the first one to come with a setting. There are some quibbling on those subjects. I apologize to those people who want to quibble on those things. You have as much chance of being right as me, at least. And we got the license to that and re-released that as Bethorm, which is the Soliani word for a pocket dimension, which is
Yes.
the premise behind the setting.
I broke down and bought a Tecumel set, like a 75 Tecumel set.
Yeah.
I was so excited about that, and I cracked open that comb bound book, and it hits you with the language like right off the bat.
Yeah.
Just like throws you into the deep end, and I was like, this is going to require some reading. This is going to require some reading.
There's no way around that. What we tried to do different with Bethorm is instead of giving up and saying, well, your characters are always foreigners who just arrived in the land and don't know anything, right? We try to make the character generation process be a thing that introduces you to the basic concepts of the setting, including the language, the hard part of which is actually the vowels. You get the vowels right, and you're not too terribly wrong with almost any of the rest of it, right?
Exactly.
You're close enough to speaking Soliani that they'd laugh at you but understand.
Fair enough.
So we did little things like that. Anyway, so we didn't quite like that. And then we did a little game called Cave Master, our Paleolithic role-playing game, for which we won a design award at North Texas RPG Con.
Excellent.
Like a little over a decade ago. It is the role-playing game that cavemen could have played.
Oh, that's neat.
Because it uses handfuls of rocks in a little guessing game for the randomizer. And
that is cool.
Your character sheet is a blank animal skin. You draw some circles with pictograms in them to indicate your different abilities, and the number of pebbles you have in each ability shows how good you are at that task.
Hell, I want to buy a copy of that right now.
You can't, because I'm a moron and we didn't bring any. But I can tell you where to get them. And also, you could play the little demo at my table.
Excellent. I want to come see that.
So we've done that, and we put out a book of randomizing authentic medieval names It's the Book of Names, which is very handy for any fantasy RPG. We've done a bunch of stuff. So that's that's what I am. I do I do freelance art, and you can look me up. I'm Art of Jeff D on
I know you're
Patreon.
Patreon.
I got a
Okay.
Patreon, Art of Jeff D, and you can also find me on Deviant Art, though I don't post there anymore because they started handing out all that stuff for AI training, which I oppose. And I'm a freelance illustrator, open to commissions. You can find a link to my terms and some sample rates on my Facebook page.
Yes,
Also,
I follow you on
Jeff
Facebook.
D on Facebook. There's a link right there.
I cyberstalk him, folks.
And I do that, and then we run our Jack Herman and I run Monkey House Games, which does the Villains Vigilante stuff, and Amanda and I run Unigames, which does all of my other stuff.
Excellent. So you're covering all of the bases. And
Yeah.
that's wonderful. Now you did so. Speaking of covering the bases, we'll talk about old stuff and new stuff. You have done, and I don't know if you're still continuing to do this, but you have done, I guess, I'm completely using the wrong word here, please forgive me, but I folios of some of your older, like TSR era works,
Right. So,
but redone for
the story there is it came out that at some point after I left TSR, but before Wizards of the Coast bought them out, some person, I usually say moron, but I'm going to be nicer because we're on
Yes,
radio,
we're not
so
calling them a
nobody's
moron.
not calling that a person I don't actually know who it is,
Fair
a
enough.
moron, decided that they needed space in their filing cabinets and they didn't need the old art, so they made space by throwing out great armloads of original artwork.
That causes me physical distress.
Including a bunch of mine. I found this out because Wizards, after they purchased TSR, contacted me and said, we need your mailing address because our policy is original art gets returned to the artist. And I go, fantastic, here it is. And I waited and nothing arrived. And then I asked them, what happened? Some moron. Or something. So there came a time when I had just redrawn Elric, just the way he was in the book, for a friend as a commission. I said, yeah, sure, I can do that. And I go, wow, people would be really interested in that stuff. And meanwhile, I was about to lose my house because I was between jobs and stuff, right? And meanwhile, there was this thing called Kickstarter. And I said, I have an idea. I could recreate those illustrations. The originals are gone, right? I could recreate them.
There's Elric, folks. I don't know how well that's coming
I would
up
have
on the
the
camera.
only originals of those things, albeit remade like decades later, and sell prints to the backers and have these new originals, right?
Right.
So I did that. And the first one I did, if I remember correctly, was the Melnibonéan section, which is especially difficult because there's a rights issue involved.
Right.
So what I did is I contacted both Michael Moorcock's representative and Wizards of the Coast. Wizards of the Coast basically washed their hands of it and said, we will not interfere. And Michael Moorcock's representative said, sure, go ahead. So I ran that Kickstarter, made a bunch of money, saved my house. It was literally within a couple of days of being out in the street.
That,
the money came in.
Folks, that is the kind of triumphant story I love to hear.
Yeah.
So often,
my career is a series of lucky breaks. I have no illusion that I deserve any of this. Really. Thanks everybody for liking my work.
I have a book with about 50 reasons why you deserve that praise, sir, right here.
Don't ruin me by telling me what they are. So then I did a whole series of those. There is still some stuff I haven't redone. Like I haven't redone any of my Boot Hill stuff or any of my Gamma World stuff.
Right.
And if I ever get desperate, I could do new Kickstarters to recreate those things. It's been very fun. And not only was I able to do that, but like there's this thing on Kickstarters that are stretch goals.
Yeah.
So
Stretch
what I
goals.
did for stretch goals is, hey, like in the Melnibonéan section, there's this creature and this creature and this creature where the illustration is blank because there's only so many hours in the day, right? And we never had a chance to draw those things. I'm going to draw them for the stretch goals.
Mhm.
And so I did all that, which was very rewarding. So yeah, and I might do more at some point, but I have
Well,
no
that-
current plans.
That's fantastic. Now, when you say you're doing the illustration, do you mean like, well, you can get Elric and you can get Hawkmoon and you can get your Coon and you can get Grom, or as a book, as a folio?
So the idea always was maybe at some point there'd be an Art of Jeff D book, but nobody has approached me about doing that. And I'm not interested in publishing that myself.
Mm.
So, the opportunity remains open if some publisher wants to approach me. Now that stuff is available again and nicely scanned instead of only available in the form of very ugly scanning and printing in the old books.
Right. Yeah.
So that's possible. But the backers would get like complete sets of
Mhm.
like, here's all the illustrations from this module, right?
Mhm.
As a set. And then I made some of the originals available to backers, and I sold some of the other recreated originals to collectors and things.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds absolutely fantastic. I mean, I have recently fallen in love with collecting art books. I have a growing shelf of art books. I got. Have you seen that engine block size Taschen Frank Frazetta? It's a coffee. It's about this thick.
Wow.
About like that.
Cool.
Weighs maybe 75 pounds. I would love to have a Jeff D art book on that shelf one day.
Tell
I'm just-
publishers, make one of them come talk to me.
Taschen, get a hold of this man pronto. Come on, we've got art books we need. There, I've done what I can, Jeff.
I didn't ever want to know anything about publishing or desktop publishing or page layouts or anything. I've had to learn those things to get my own new games out in front of the market, and it's been fun. I've been happy to do it.
Oh, I mean, it's nice when you can be kind of confronted by one of those things that maybe you think is going to be onerous, but when you come out to the other end of it, you're like, hey, this actually
Plus,
actually
the end
worked out
product
well.
makes it worth it.
Yeah, exactly.
But I don't want to be an art book publisher.
Well,
Busy.
yeah, exactly. So again, somebody out there, please contact this man, take his prints, put them in a lovely coffee table book, sell me a copy, and then you can do whatever you want
We
with the
have to
rest
go
of it.
back to Wizards of the Coast though to get permission again to do that. That'd
Yeah.
probably be okay with it.
Well, I mean, that brings us to another wonderful point, but I don't.
Oh, magic cards. You didn't mention magic cards.
Magic cards.
I did a couple of sets of illustrations for magic cards when recently over the last few years, Wizards came out with some D&D themed
Yeah,
expansions.
I saw those.
I was one of the
they printed
artists.
them up like old school modules.
They added they started doing cards that are black and white illustrations instead of paintings
Mhm.
because that's the kind of art that was in the old TSR books,
Which is pretty
and
spiffy.
so I had a chance to work on a couple of those. That was fun.
So I did, speaking of art books, I did want to ask you, but I also want to be conscientious about your time.
Are we past my half hour
We
already?
are at 4:48. But
I have to leave at 5.
okay,
Have to.
all right, then I think we can probably fit this in.
Okay.
Art and Arcana, the art of TS.
Yeah.
The paint expression. I feel
I'm not
sailing-
in there, or am I?
No, you are
Oh,
in
okay.
there.
There are some like old timey TSR art books I'm not in.
This was a monster that came out. I think
I'm not
in-
the only one that's not
in-
in them, right? A lot of people think TSR art happened at a later point in history
This-
than the early days.
No. This book goes all the way back to Lesh, Bell,
Okay, good.
all those folks, and it ends in mid 5e. but I
Okay.
would say 2/3 of it are you guys from OD&D up through
Okay.
the
Well,
end
thanks,
of AD&D.
thanks, whoever did that.
I think it was Michael Whitwer.
Okay.
But your comments on it answer my question about what do you think of it, because
Oh,
clear-
but I don't have a whole. I hope I come across as a guy that doesn't have a whole lot of like ego. Okay, I don't have a whole lot of ego. I don't go hunting down books
You
of
should.
collections of my own.
earned
art.
it.
Yeah, but that sucks. That's being an icky person. I don't like people like that. I'm not going to be one.
I give
so
you permission over standard TCP/IP to be
Yeah,
a little bit icky.
I try to be a decent guy and do decent work, and that is enough. I'm content with that. So I don't bother looking at a lot of art books that collect old TSR things, but I know a lot of them don't have my stuff in it. So, or at least some of them don't have my stuff in it.
I
So it pains
promise
me
you,
because I have that much ego.
I
I'd like
promise
to be
you.
remembered.
I would have had to have paid for more luggage
Uh-huh.
to bring my Art and Arcana book, but
Okay.
I would have gladly done so to get your
Just buy
art
one
on
here.
some
If
of
somebody's got to have one,
it. You know what?
I'm not getting the money, so it's fine.
Buy it and FedEx at home, but I avail yourself because your stuff is in there and it is
Okay.
shown quite excellently.
Okay, cool.
So
And I get to see the art of the other guys too. They're
yes,
awesome.
yes, and it was really that book that introduced me to some of your predecessors, because I think so many people they know
Oh,
you,
God.
Errol, Dave Sutherland,
Trampier.
Tramp stuff.
That my greatest regret from my entire career is I did not start at TSR until after Trampier had finished and gone. So I
Mm.
never got to meet the man.
Oh,
I really wish.
yeah.
What an astonishing talent.
I know. I can't state it any better. A guy who could take a ballpoint pen, just a big ballpoint pen and make it look like a woodcut. In
Yeah.
the space of an
Yeah,
afternoon.
amazing.
Just phenomenal. Just phenomenal.
I
But-
did steal one of his originals when I left TSR because I was mad.
What
I
one?
stole one.
What one?
The Stone Giant. There's like a profile of the Stone
I know
Giant's
the
head
one
from
you're
Monster
talking about.
Manual.
Yes.
I don't know if I have it anymore. I might have sold it out of desperation, but
Yeah.
I did steal one thing and a couple of my pieces because it was work for hire and I didn't really have a right, but I stole it. And I don't think Wizards is going to come after me because their policy is I should have been able to have all of it.
Exactly.
But they dumpstered it instead. So
Exactly so.
what a crazy industry.
Exactly. I've been casting time
I can
stop
talk.
spells.
That's a talent I have. I can babble with the best of them.
Well, I know you need to get back to your booth, sir.
Yeah.
It has been an absolute gas talking
Thank
to
you very much.
Thank you very much for coming down here.
Thanks
today.
everybody for
Yes, all you folks
watching
out
and
there
listening and stuff.
on internet land. Again, whether you're watching us live now, whether you're catching this later, I recommend going and doing a little the YouTube. You can slice a section out to watch. Watch it in its entirety, but definitely Jeff D, ladies and gentlemen. Jeff D. Thank you again so much, my friend, for stopping
Thank
by.
you.
And
I will be gone.
have a lovely evening. I want to stop by and play Caveman later.
Okay, tomorrow would be a better day.
I'm calling myself Ugg, and I will have stick.
You may do that if you must.
Take care. All right. Well, that was the inimitable Jeff D, and I hope you guys enjoyed that as much as I did, because I'm way off center here. I'm gonna move over just a little bit. Jeff D, guys. I mean, he's coming back. He's coming back for more.
Would you like to have all the artwork that I brought to the show?
Dang it, he noticed. Curses. Take care, sir. But yeah, he left his portfolio over here. But anyway, I mean, what a talent! What an incredible talent! If you're any kind of fan of classic TTRPG art, just come on down here if you're at the con and go talk to Jeff. He's got so many pieces on display. He's got a basic D&D book, which of course is that classic action pose of Morgan Iron Wolf in her form-fitting chainmail outfit. We have so much more to see here at the con. You know, the owl bear has been roaming around. You guys saw the owl bear, and yeah, so it's a lot of fun. We're waiting to see if to see if some more folks stop by, but I haven't heard from anyone yet. But that's not to say that no one will. Yeah. So I'm here at the table. You guys have any questions? You know, I'm gonna get my old man glasses so I can see your smiling faces. If you're out there in the live chat, here they are. There we go. Any comments out there? Awesome that it Kickstarter. Absolutely, Zane. It's fantastic. I'm gonna scoot over here just a little bit. I don't know if I can pan that around without causing a problem. So you guys will just have to see me over here and just pretend I have an invisible stalker. We're interviewing Invisible Stalker. What do you think about stalking invisibly today? A man, a few words. Sorry, a stalker, a few words. But let's see. We have some commentary earlier. I'm reading y'all's comments here. Looks like it's from some earlier comments. So if you're out there, if you're watching us over on YouTube, pop in and throw a comment out there. I see there's a few of you folks out there. And speaking of folks to comment, ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, Matt Forbeck. Matt,
Bill, good to see you.
welcome. Good to see you.
I don't know. I'm supposed to be going to this cheesesteak thing over at the Hilton Garden Inn. They said it starts at 5.
It starts at 5.
That's what I was told.
Okay. Well, I don't know when. Let's see. Hang on just a second here, folks.
I was originally told to be here at 4:30 by whoever the first guy was in contact. I can't remember.
Okay.
DM Tails something.
Right. I had Jeff D here.
Right, I saw you. I walked by. I'm like, I'm not going to interrupt you.
Okay. We'll be right back, folks. Hang on a second.
I emailed you last night about this. Like, the guests are supposed to be at a cheesesteak thing at the Hilton Garden Inn.
Okay.
And they start dinner at 5:30. It's supposed to start around that. So.
Okay. I didn't.
But I'm going to be here all weekend. I only got duties like from noon to 4.
Okay. I am myself unsure. I'm not sure of everything. I don't know what they. Anyway, is Ron still working in there?
I didn't see him, but I haven't looked.
Okay. I need a little bit of info. I'm not standing between you and Philly cheesesteaks.
Oh, there you go.
Absolutely not.
But I mean, I actually just checked the email again because I was looking at it from Start
Okay.
saying you got to be here between. It starts at 5, dinner's at 5:30.
Well then,
Okay.
I don't know if that was just
And originally, again, I had it down at 4:30. The guy told me to be here.
okay.
I'm not sure what happened.
Let me see.
I
Maybe
didn't want to leave you sitting there going, "Where the hell is he?"
let me see.
Yeah, it was Wesley Allen who originally contacted me, right?
Okay, yeah.
He
So
said 4:30.
and we did go a little bit long with Jeff, and I apologize for that.
Jeff's
but-
a great interview, man. I wouldn't stop me for him.
okay.
Stop him for me. There we go.
Oh gosh. Well, I'm all by myself here. I can't get any information, and I know Ron is busy as a
Oh, of course.
sword-tailed cat.
No,
So
it's okay. Don't worry. But I probably should go do this other thing.
we'll go do the dinner, and if anyone's looking for me there, just bring me back a cheesesteak, would
There
you?
you go. Sounds good.
Hey, Matt,
Thanks.
how are you?
Good. How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Here's a man who might know.
What's up?
Wes.
Did you stop streaming? You hit stop?
But you told me to be here at 4:30.
Yes.